Oh my god. And we're live.
Well,
We
hi
are.
everyone.
Hello, citizens of Podville.
What the
Oh,
hell was this intro?
dear God.
Podwanami.
You-
Hey guys, I didn't see you guys last week.
Yeah. And I wasn't there either, so
Did anything fun and exciting happen last week?
Conversation. Yeah.
Kier was in bat too.
and they were
Wow.
dunking on me the entire fucking
It was great.
Luke, your sole purpose here is for us to degrade you.
So
In a-
Luke
in
and
a-
I
in a
Luke and I
nice way.
missed we missed episode 5, which I hear was a doozy for the Acolyte fans. There was some good lightsabering. There was some dead people involved with the Acolyte. Rest in peace. What are their names?
Jackie, Yord, and everyone
Jackie
else.
and everyone
Dead
else who
soul.
decided to go on to Kofar.
Are you serious? Did you just seriously say who are their names?
Yeah. These no-name characters. It's not Revan or Starkiller, so who
Oh,
cares, right?
God.
Wow. All right. Well, this
But
start off
but
again.
how
another-
have you guys been? Now we've got episode 6. We'll talk about it. How's everyone been? It's been 2 weeks since I've talked to you guys. How are we doing?
I've been great. I mean, I got caught up with House of the Dragon, and I'm a mess.
You know, Chase, I still haven't saved my game file.
That's a
Oh
skill. That is
my
legit a skill issue.
Can this die? Seriously.
but-
Speaking of like dead things, can this thing die already? Like this is so. This is
that's
so
a classic.
Never
Oh,
going to
That's
die.
a classic.
Never
What are you
going to
talking
die.
about, Char?
Classic
No.
pass, baby.
Charlie Johnson learning how to boil water will never die. I'm sorry. But okay, The Acolyte, episode 6, Teach / Courrpt. Let's talk about it. We have 2 friends that are going to help us talk about it. Let's bring on some people. I think we'll start with Emma Leia Hutslayer.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, Emma. How are you doing this evening? Thank you for
I am
joining us.
well. Thank you so much for having me. This is very fun and exciting. I'm looking forward to the shenanigans we'll get into together.
Oh, there will be shenanigans. The follow-up to There Will Be Blood, there will be shenanigans. But Emma, I have to ask you, and I'll ask our next guest this: how do you feel about skinny dipping being canon in Star Wars?
I am pro skinny dipping in space. If you're going to be hot in space, you got to cool down in space also, right? So
I
mean,
100% agree.
That's
Thank you, Jason Mendoza from The Good Place. You made all our dreams come true.
a Filipino Canadian king, I have to say. He is
What an
from
angel.
Vancouver.
What an
really
angel. All right. Well, thank you for being here again. But we also have another longtime friend who's been here a couple times. They've talked about random characters who might happen to be some of the best characters in Star Wars, like Wedge Antilles, over and over again. So please give a warm welcome to Kels Sansa Skywalker.
Hi.
How are
Hi,
you doing,
Kels.
Kels? It's been a minute. It's been a
It
hot
has.
minute.
It's been a hot minute.
What's been good? Tell me the good news.
I moved.
Where did you move?
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
I did too. We all
escaped
moved.
the Midwest.
And we managed to get jobs.
Okay, so Luke has gone from the Midwest to the East Coast. I've gone from the East Coast to the West Coast. Kels, you went from the Midwest to where?
Florida.
Side grade.
Hi, great.
Kels, I asked Emma. I
Yeah.
have to ask you, how do you feel about skinny dipping being canon in Star Wars?
God bless. God bless Leslie. Lesbians know what the people want. Yeah, I'm really good.
It was
I
a-
won this week. I really
So-
won this week with House of Dragon and this. So
I'm not a hot D got person, but man, I feel like with Andor getting like canonical like hookups in Star Wars was great, and then now getting canonical sexy scarred man skinny dipping. Incredible. How could
I
anyone
love when
hate
Star
this
Wars
show?
is horny. So
I mean-
I'm winning.
It's at its best when it is a little bit camp and a little bit horny. You are correct.
Yeah.
If you're a viewer of the reactions on the channel, we got Alanis freaking out at both Amond, and then we also got Alanis freaking out at skinny dipping. So I think this is a win.
I was also doing both. So
It was such a blushing and kicking my little feet.
Oh yeah.
situation.
When
Yeah.
when Chimere took off, when he took off the top, I was like, all right, we got the preview last episode. Now we're getting the the primetime show. And then he pulls down the bottom and I'm like, oh,
I was like,
we're on Skinemax.
Are we gonna get a
tonight.
butt?
All right.
Are we gonna get a butt?
I thought we were gonna get a butt. I was like,
I really thought
It was a tasteful edit. I
It
respect
was.
that they're trying to keep their ratings, but I was just
hoping
like,
for
dang,
just a
all right.
little like
little bit of a butt.
A little bit. Like,
Come on,
Yeah.
Chase.
we don't need to
Chase,
see
you
the-
know that we were not going to get anything under the belly button. Come on.
You know-
listen, after watching
we
House
got
the
an
Dragon, literally, we watched House the Dragon, where I just got full frontal.
Oh,
I-
by
I-
Eamon? Yeah.
I was expecting everything. at
Full
that
Amon
point.
dong.
Okay. Forgive my ignorance. Eamon is Doctor Who Matt Smith, right?
No,
No.
that's Damon.
No.
Amond
Oh.
is my homicidal baby boy.
You have many.
Gotta-
Go
I'm
on.
I
not
love-
surprised by this.
And he's also
He's one of my many homicidal baby boys.
he's
Um,
also
but
Osferth from Last Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Osferth.
he was also in
Over my
Saltburn too. So
It was a very jarring difference, his character in Saltburn versus House of the Dragon. I was like, huh, range, I guess.
Okay, so I looked up Eamon. Is it Eamon Targaryen?
Aemond.
yeah, he has an eye patch. He looks like he belongs in an anime movie. Or
Looks like
Very
it looks like he
much
belongs
so.
in One Piece.
Because I looked up.
I
I
had
looked
that
up.
exact
I
same
looked
thought.
up Aemon Targaryen, and I got the old dude from Game of Thrones. I'm like, y'all are.
Well, that's
Thirsty.
No. Dude, Amon just like
Oh, this guy. Yeah, I'd like to see that wiener.
they go watch Amon. They go watch House of the
Get
Dragon.
caught up.
Oh,
Someone clip that. Someone please clip that.
What?
Yeah,
No,
we need more
I'd like to
clips.
see that winner.
We need more snippets to play on this podcast, and we'll have
oh,
Chase saying, "Oh
boy.
yeah, I'd love to see
that?
that wiener."
He's a good-looking guy.
So going
right? He's so good looking, and I love him.
He has an eye patch.
He does.
You cannot go wrong with an eye patch.
It's very
The
dashing.
sapphire eye
you should, yeah, he's got a sapphire eye. That's freaking cool.
Mm.
and a sexy emo witch girlfriend.
Yeah, she's
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Alice Rivers.
Yeah.
she,
I'm
Mother.
winning so hard right now.
A witch
I'm winning so
girlfriend's
hard.
just like the theme this year, like having witch girlfriends. Like, is that like
Yeah.
just, like every show's gonna have a witch girlfriend now? Okay. cool.
witches
As
are
it should.
It's like when Laszlo says gays in, gays hard, gay is what I want it to be. It's
Is
I
that why
want
you named your cat
I-
Laszlo?
yeah, because he has
Okay.
that energy.
Okay.
Laszlo has that energy.
Because we got Tales of the Empire, Morgan Elsbeth's story. That's and we got the other side of the witches on the mountain. We got the witches of Brendock, and now Hot D's witch girlfriend that I don't know anything about.
Alice Rivers.
Mommy.
The love of my life. I love her. I love Alice Rivers so much.
Well, I think we just need Selena Gomez to come back for a new season of Witches of Waverly Place.
Wait, hey,
Everything is not what it seems.
that's actually coming.
It actually is happening. That's actually happening.
Perfect.
Like Chase knew that was gonna happen and is but no, I lost my train of thought. Chase,
That's great.
Nice.
take it away.
Okay, let's jump in.
Enough talking about that hot D.
No more hot
last
Ds
week.
allowed in this chat from
We
moving
have
forward.
hot butts though.
We did get
What's not
hot,
hot
butts.
B?
Sort of.
Okay, so
Did you just say hot? Oh my god.
hot buns, hot cross buns.
Oh, not a hot crust bun. All right, get. Oh,
So-
no.
Emma, I'm gonna throw this to you. Let's talk about episode 6, Teach/Corrupt. Compared to last episode, with all the swingy, zoomies, How do you feel about this one, like as a follow-up to episode 5?
So I really did love this episode. I respect that people didn't like it, but I did really enjoy it. I think the real issue is that 8 episodes is simply not an appropriate length for a TV show. I think that is true across the board unless you're doing a limited series. And so I think that because of all of the really nice, and I wrote this in my notes, the really nice quiet character moments that we got, just as our friend JJ would say, people talking to each other, just scenes of people talking to each other, conversations. It really does bring home those character moments. And so I think that we could have had a little bit more room for that, but I was really happy we got it. But I am now concerned about there only being 2 more episodes. But I think as far as a follow-up to episode 5, that's a really great question. Really action heavy versus not at all action heavy. And I think that had we had more time to let episodes 4 and 5 breathe a little bit, this would have followed it up a little bit better because it wouldn't feel like such a turn down of action, rather than those nice quiet character moments. It's so difficult for me to articulate whether it's going to fit in the grand scheme of things without having seen everything yet, like to definitively comment one way or the other. But I liked this episode standing alone. I wish the previous episodes had more room to breathe.
And this is where, if you watch the discussion to the end of the reaction, that was and I agree with you 110%. These episodes need to be hour long. Disney, if they're going to do a $200 million budget, it needs to be no less than 54 minutes at the minimum. These episodes need to be an hour long. I'm sorry, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse for Disney or Lucasfilm to not give hour-long episodes.
I think the budget is there. I think it's a question of like the flow of the market, right? So you've got all of these competing streamers, right? And they're all putting out shows on their streamers. And they're realizing, oh, well, they're doing this and they're doing this, so we also got to do this. And if we have longer seasons, then we're going to lose momentum and it's not going to like keep viewership and whatever. I think it's more of a market issue because, like you said, there's really no excuse. It's not like one of the most profitable companies in the world doesn't have the budget to create content for one of the most popular franchises in television and film history. So I definitely agree. I think that even if they were only like 10 minutes longer, even if they were just like regular standard TV length, like 44 minutes, I think that would honestly be fine if we had 13 or 16 episodes.
Agreed.
Twice as long over the span of a whole season would make such a difference because they wouldn't be perhaps rushing to get those moments in a single episode. Because they know they have more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like House of the Dragon. Like, instead
of
15 episodes a season, we get 10 episodes, and then instead of half-an-hour episodes, we get hour-long episodes.
Yeah. Nick, what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Well, I just was gonna say. I mean, and we talked about it during the reaction, and I think like trying to stick to a set episode time, if it doesn't suit the story the episode's trying to tell, can hurt it because you end up trying to fill space. I look at episode 5, and I know we're talking about episode 6, but episode 5 felt like the perfect length for what the story it was trying to tell. And I agree with you that this week could have been longer, that there definitely could have been more beats to those character moments that we had. But I would rather have the story that is being told in that episode determine the length of it, rather than saying we have to hit some preset length amount. I'm fine with it going, because Mando season 1 was kind of all over the place with its episode lengths. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But when it worked, it wasn't because necessarily it was a longer episode. Yeah,
I think that totally makes sense. I think that I I know that this was a complaint between episode 4 and episode 5, is that like episode 4 didn't necessarily feel complete. And it's not that it ended on a cliffhanger, because that's a good thing that it ends on a cliffhanger, because you want people to watch the next episode. But I think that it comes down to, I guess, like I said, like letting the action breathe. So I don't think it necessarily has to be like prescribed lengths. I just think that you can't have only 8 episodes and also only 30 minutes of actual screen time. Like that is,
I think you're
unhinged,
doing
in my personal opinion.
I think you're doing a disservice to the market as well. And that's just how I feel. It's like you have fans that are dedicated, that will watch it, and now you're just throwing out the product because will watch it. And it's like, give me a little bit of give me what I want, but also showing me something different. And I feel like, and maybe this is just me, and it probably is, but like the editing has been the worst part of this show.
Yeah.
And that's if I'm complaining about the editing, the show itself is pretty damn good. You know what I mean? Like and Hereth said it perfectly during the reaction. I wish we would have stayed with some of these moments a little bit longer. And if it would have been a 44-minute episode, then we would have had a little bit more time to spend with Chimere.
Yeah, I even said in the reaction, it's like I don't even want like 45-minute episodes. Like I just wanted each scene to feel like 30 seconds to a minute longer, because like the prime example, the scene I always think of is when Osha has Chimere against the wall with the saber, and you immediately just cut away. I'm like, why are you cutting away from this moment? Hold on this scene. Let this tension build slowly, and then hold on like Osha's kind of like twisted regrets now that she's like flipping towards more to the dark side. Why are we cutting away from this? I want to see what happened directly after this moment, because like it's clearly something happened, because like clearly she had him at a wall and she went, no, I don't. So it's like, let these moments just kind of breathe before we get back to what's going on with May and Soul.
I will say, like, I mean, I watched it again today, I think with a different set of lenses on it compared to sort of going into it with expectations on Tuesday. Yeah. The shot selection was better this episode than, say, episode 4. I think they had more close-ups. You got more emotional signs from Osha or from Chimere about what they were feeling when they weren't talking than what we got in previous episodes. So I do think that from that perspective, the editing was better, but I do agree. There definitely needs to be more breathing room on some of these scenes.
Yeah. I think a perfect example of like the appropriate length is when Soul goes down to wherever to reset the comms and whatever else.
Yes.
And you just have this beautiful, oh my God, I like get teary thinking about it, because the acting we were getting in that scene, with no dialogue and just his face, just absolutely incredible. You can watch him, basically what I wrote in my notes, my embarrassingly long notes, you can watch him breaking apart from the grief. Mm-hmm. And I think that like as I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, we're staying with him in this moment for a really long time. And it's because I think that sometimes the cuts have been a little bit frenetic, and like you were saying, like not allowing a shot to sort of like build the tension or like give us those emotional stakes. It's like perhaps maybe they're opting for the speed to build intensity, or like confusion, or I don't know. But that moment was just like out of this world incredible. I really cannot praise the acting in that moment any higher, because like it was such a moment of tension. You can sort of watch him formulate a plan. He's not saying anything out loud, but he has sort of like made a decision about whether he's actually going to try to contact Vern or not, and what he's going to do about May, and whether he is going to finally tell her the truth about what happened on Brendock, which we still don't know.
We'll get there one day.
I know, fingers crossed.
Season 3, it's fine.
Yeah.
The one thing I was thinking about with Soul, with Lee Jung Jae, is he very much feels, and I don't mean this to slight the other cast members of the Acolyte. I think there's some shortcomings, but I also think that every cast member has shown their acting ability one way or the other. Lee Jung Jae feels like the Ewan McGregor of this show, where Ewan McGregor carried the prequels acting wise. Like every character in the prequels has their shining moments and stuff like that, but consistently Ewan McGregor like did it perfectly the whole time. And Lee Jung Jae, from the first episode to where we are now, I have never once been like, yeah, that line was a little off, but oh well. Like I feel like with some of like Amanda's lines, it feels like they used the wrong take in some things, where it's like, I know she could, like, based on what she said like 8 lines ago, I know she could have delivered that line better. Whereas Lee Jung Jae is just perfect every moment he's on screen, and like I love Soul.
His performance really anchors and grounds the stakes, I think. I think that's why lots of people are feeling so attached to Soul, and why there's so much question about like what the hell was his role in what happened on Brendok, and like why is he the only one left standing of like who was involved with that. It's just such an incredibly grounded performance, and I think that really anchors everything else. Like you were saying, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I mean, and then with the way the episode ended last week, like, we're gonna find out what happened on Brendok. The way that it ended with Soul talking to May and be like, "Listen, okay," and then the episode ended. Like, yeah, we were 100% going back to Brendok, and me, Hereth, and Nick, Hereth, and I found out that the director of episode 3, which was the flashback episode, is directing this 7th episode. So it makes sense that we're gonna go there. Because if we somehow don't find out what happened on Brendok next episode, this better be like the greatest bombshell in Jedi history.
I made the joke in Kari's live that it was like it's like the equivalent of like dangling a keys in front of a baby, being like, "Oh, you want to know what happened?"
The State Farm commercial, the guy with the fishing rod and the dollar. You gotta be quicker than that. Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
We're dying
because the ending of this episode felt really jarring to me, because you had that scene with May and Soul on board the ship, and Soul's like, "You're gonna listen," and they cut to black. They make you think it's done, and then suddenly you're back with Osha. You're getting this second, and it felt really. I mean, it was a great scene. Don't get me wrong.
I think they should have been switched. I think Osha putting on the mask should have preceded. I'm going to tell you what happened.
Maybe this is the editor in me. That felt like a beginning of an episode, not an ending of an episode. Like, I could have imagined that being like a cold open and then cutting into the intro.
Which, I mean, this show so far has been pretty good at having dual episodes to combine together.
Yeah.
Because the first and second one should have combined together. And then a third was a flashback. 4 and 5, like, are right neck and neck with each other in terms of like the story and the time of everything. I'm sure this one's just going to be its like own standalone.
Yeah. I like the cliffhanger nature that a lot of these episodes have had, but I think the cliffhanger is good, but the meat that preceded the cliffhanger is like so slim. Like episode 4, I think, is a good episode, but I think Hereth, you were saying like I just wanted a minute longer with each scene. Like I wanted these conversations to have like 8 more sentences in them. And it's one of those things. It's like it's both a problem, but also like a good problem to have. Like, I want more. Like, I'm enjoying what you're giving me, but just give me more. It's like, this tastes great. I just want more of it. I want a bigger serving of what you're offering. And Emma, what you were saying, if it's just like, yeah, maybe if these episodes were just 45 minutes or 44 minutes, whatever it is, like, I think a lot of the character development, because in episode 4, when Yord starts to open up to Osha, and like I
wanted like 3 more minutes.
Yes, I wanted him to be like, Osha, like I want you to know these things. And do in episode 5 we see a little bit when he has that hesitation of like, do we run back to the ship or do we go back and help everyone? And he makes the non-Jedi decision to go back and help everyone or to not follow orders, I should say, and it costs him his life, and there's an impact to that, and there's a
which
good
is contrary
impact
to how he's
Mhm.
been the rest of the series,
Yeah.
right? It's like he's very much a rule follower,
Mhm.
and then you have that moment where he says "civilian to the ship," which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, he's a
very
perfectionist.
comedic delivery, but then they don't, and then like you said, he ends up becoming one with the Force as a result of that action, which I thought was so poignant.
Yeah. I think it was well done. Like, it's one of those things that I think everything that they've done so far has been well done, but there's just a little bit more to it. Like, just a few more ingredients to each moment we've gotten with each one of these characters would have added so much more. But like the content that they're serving us is so intriguing and so enjoyable that it's kind of like, yeah, I want more, but I'm kind of okay with what we're getting. But Kels, question. Compared to all the rest of the episodes that we've been getting, how does episode 6, Teach Courrpt, feel compared to you? Because obviously last episode was the whiz bang boom. The snap crackle pop.
Pop it.
No.
But like when we look at these 6 episodes as a whole, how are you feeling?
Twist it.
Bop it.
I love how
Punch it.
But I love how on the bop it.
Punch it.
I
Punch
love
it.
how on the bop it, there's 3 different things you can do as like
Well, bop
Jackie's
it
got 1,
obviously
2,
Jackie
3.
Jam. We don't have to say twist.
Kels.
See, here's the funny part. Real quick. We got one of the creators of Yord Horde. We got creator of Kelnaka Crew. Who was the creator for Jackie Jam?
I was the killer of Kelnaka Crew. It was awesome.
I can't remember.
How?
No.
Dare
Get
you?
that off the screen.
Wow.
Get that off the
I
screen.
know it was one of
now.
my friends that
It's
came up with
staged.
Jackie Jam though.
Oh, this is bullshit.
But yeah,
Thank you. I
as
prefer
co-leader of Yord Horde, the amount of jokes everyone threw at me that first week, I was like,
Oh,
I was
You stuck
amazed
to
you
it.
didn't
You
go
stuck
hunt
to it.
down Tommy in that first 48 hours.
that Tommy tweet
I
was
kept
so
saying,
out
like,
of
if you
pocket.
no, it was like in like one of my like friend group chats, like my IRL friendly group, they kept sending me Yord memes of him, and I'm like, I'm gonna murder all of you, and I know where you all live, so stop.
The best one.
Okay. Hold on. If you're going to go out, is getting your neck twisted by Chimere the worst way to go?
No, because the thing is, you're not. First off, I never thought Star Wars would even go that way because it's not very much of a Star Wars death to begin with. Because you were like, oh,
very on
blasters,
screen. Very on.
because like it's the way that like the only reason Chimere was able to do that was because he caught Yord off guard.
Maggie.
Oh yeah, there's Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
Maggie.
Oh, hello.
But like,
How
I
are
mean,
you?
if your final moments is like Chimere's beautiful arms around you,
just having someone's arm around your neck and comforting you, yeah. I mean, I was just not
100%, line up for the Chimere neck cracks.
By the way, this is a question directed at Brooke. What's better, that Chimere neck snap or the Vader neck snap?
I knew that's where it was going.
In episode 4.
Nah, Chimere, you get nice and intimate with the bicep first, and then you'll be
like Darth Vader is like,
snapped.
oh, the Force twisted me too far. Chimere is like, you get the sweat. You get the sweat from his beautiful arms underneath
not
your
only-
chin.
But in a very serious way, that is like a very intimate way to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At the risk of being crass, I guess. But and
it was so romantic too because
what you're telling me is that you would love to be killed that way.
and you know what was so romantic about it? Chimere gave him like a little like spin. He was dancing with him a little bit, and then he was like,
okay, he like broke his arm first and then snapped his
"No,
neck.
they were
Like,
dancing. It was just a part of the routine." Okay.
That was
anyway, what was the original question? I got the tangent.
Which one was better? Chimere snapping Yord's neck, or Vader snapping that kid's neck on Mapuzo?
No, the neck before the question before that. Char.
Sorry,
Kels, the
Jason.
question that I posed to you very simply is how do you feel episode 6 stacks up alongside everything we've seen so far.
Well, I said this on Twitter, but it's very High Republic because it's killing all your faves, but it's also making you horny.
Yep.
The duality.
We killed everyone off, and then the next episode was just everyone feeling horny, and you're feeling slightly insane, and you're all having very like great discussions about this episode, but all I can think about is just horny. It's fine.
You were
know
you
what?
were back in phase 2, weren't you, Kels? I saw your tweet. You went right back to phase 2.
No, literally, I watched episode 6 and I immediately went and reread Convergence for the 11th time. So I think Leslie succeeded in her goal. Is I went back and reread the High Republic. It's fine.
But like, here's the other thing. So now, obviously, we got the unknown planet with cortosis and legends.
Not Octo.
It's not Octo because it's confirmed not to be Octo. Which I called
Octo.
No, it's definitely Baldemnik. It's Baldemnik. It's Baldemnik, and I will die on the hill.
You see,
It's
Luke,
Baldemnik.
I
dude.
know it's Baldemnik, but there's also a chance that the name could be changed because it's
It
Legends.
can, but whatever. It's Baldemnik. Also, I'll just start it here. Fucking Chimere's character is Venomous. It's Venomous.
God,
It's
here we
Venomous.
go.
Tua.
So we can now be guaranteed that it will not be Venus.
It will not be.
So far,
It's standing for that.
The triplet. The
All
triplet
right,
guess
all right.
has been dismissed.
I'm here to
The
defend
Knights of
myself.
Ren
I'll
guess
call
has
y'all
been
motherfuckers.
dismissed.
Nick, you need to go to the worst one, the second one. We need to go to number
Exactly.
2.
Exactly,
Hey, y'all
Luke.
y'all. No, they're not gonna name it Moraband. That's already can't.
No,
they
he's
already.
using-
No,
he's
but it was
He's
once
using
called-
it as an example, Luke.
No, but it was
Oh,
once
okay.
called
Anyway.
Coraban, and they changed it to Moraband.
So what I was going with.
Hold down the
Hold on.
defenses, Luke.
No, I am putting them up because I'm getting gaslit here on my own goddamn show.
Oh, we're gaslighting Luke. I'm really good at doing that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Stop.
I don't
Oh
think
my
that's what
God.
OSHA's purpose is on Baldemnik.
Anyway, you're not gonna get me flustered. No, absolutely.
No,
not.
because that hasn't happened yet already.
No.
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 He gaslights himself.
Triplet.
That is
Triplet.
so fast.
Triplet.
That
You
is
know,
so
you know
fast.
what would be great is like, at the end of episode 8, hopefully everything comes back together and OSHA's back on the ship with Saul, and Saul's like, "What happened?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I hit him with that Haktua. I spit on that thing."
Oh yeah, Hereth, aren't we taking him to Podcourt?
Oh yeah, we're taking you to Podcourt over your horrible theory about Khmer.
No, not
Right?
not
What?
the hero, the theories of the show. So,
Yeah.
Wait.
Emma, Kels, may I remind you
Kels,
both
yeah.
about this man's thoughts or his predictions for the show. So the
Are we talking about Luke?
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
of course,
Okay.
we're dogging on it. We're giving you what you want.
Thank you.
What everyone wants actually. So the first thing that he said when we were on Brundock for the first time, he was like, "Oh my God, there's a triplet."
He said it after the episode, by the way, not in the episode. After
There was
the
a
episode.
triplet, and then the Darksider, he thought it
Look.
was Mother Coral. Then,
That's a reasonable.
and then
I
once we
can see
find
that
out
one.
about Chimere being the nameless Sith, he's like, "Oh, he's a Knight of Ren." And
Well, it's not
That's
that was
not
the problem.
unreasonable
That's not what
because they play
that's the problem.
Kylo's theme.
This is horseshit. This
because
is
of a
horseshit
5-second audio clip. Wow.
Luke,
Way to
it's
come
not
to
that's
conclusion.
what that's
Dude,
the problem
proud of you.
is.
You kept
No.
using it. It's not a one fucking
Oh,
off.
Luke,
thing.
I'm so proud of you that you forgot in episode 2 that he was reciting the fucking Sith code. You're
Also,
brilliant. I'm sorry.
my favorite part was not only that was when evidence was brought up in episode 5, episode 2, and episode 6 that he's a Sith. Luke would not back
The
off
power
the
of
theory.
2. What
You
dark
literally
side?
watch my facial
what dark
expression.
side group
I'm
follows
just staring into the
2?
camera like, Luke,
To
you
the
fucking
to
get
the
it.
point,
All right.
to the point where I'm pretty sure there was a gentleman's agreement that if you were proven wrong, your Twitter handle was going to change, and
It
that
was.
hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Luke.
That has not
Stop!
happened
He's
yet.
already dead. Stop!
All right. Anyway, no, but one theory that I am going to die on the hill on. It's not
You
the
tell
Ren.
me your
No,
Star
I've
Wars
come
theory,
off.
Luke.
I've come off of that. That's not happening anymore.
Don't do the
dude,
triplet one
you-
because
No,
we
no,
all
no,
know
You tried so
Osha
hard to
and
push
May.
that one.
Osha and May are so clearly the canon version of Jaina and Jason solo, and it's driving me insane.
Yeah,
100%.
So-
No. This is what happened. Luke heard the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The moment he heard power of many, no, there was another. Like,
No, they're just singing the
Oh,
High
Yoda.
Republic song from the Rising Storm. We are one, we are many.
anyway, well, so I and this is me being serious, actually being serious. I think how this is gonna end is that this is why if you haven't read Darth Plagueis, I would highly recommend you reading Darth Plagueis.
definitely.
I
One of my
just
favorite
bought
Legends
the
books.
ebook.
They are
Right.
literally dropping a lot of stuff from that novel.
Yeah.
Like the Cortosis was first introduced. If I'm
Well, it
correct me
was
if I'm wrong,
produced before that.
If it was
It
a bunch
was
of Legends
introduced in the
comics.
90s. Yeah.
Cortosis is
Well,
from
okay.
Jedi.
Okay. So, but like the where it was found was also introduced in Plagueis, if I'm not mistaken.
Feeble.
Pat,
So
why?
I'm making
Why,
a
Pat?
mistake, Pat. Turn
That-
back. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Pat, you've been banished to the Nebraska cave where you're stuck with
Anyway.
Corn and Luke Hagen forever.
You're now a part of the
Luke,
Republic, Pat.
Luke,
Anyway,
what is your based on the Plagueis things or Plagueis adjacent things they've been
Plagueis
dropping?
I won't say that it's right on the money, but it seems like it's at least hitting me in the face, where it's like, oh, mining of Cortosis. We know where that planet is in Legends. Are they going to pull that in there? That leads me to believe, are they going to bring in Tenebris or are they going to go straight into Plagueis? My thinking is that they're going to go straight into Plagueis because I think Chimere is just going to take the place of Venomous, who was
and that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking too. Because
he was
I've heard a lot of
second-
Venomous theories.
No,
that-
yeah, it's
that
he's Venomous.
He may be
like,
it. I'm like, I could
he-
buy that. I could definitely
would-
buy that.
No, because in the novel, after Plagueis poisons him and keeps him alive, he takes Venomous's ship and he goes and retraces his steps, and he is actively looking for an apprentice, and that's what Chimere is doing. He's looking for a pupil.
Yeah,
So they're just using him as like an interconnecting. I don't want, and to be honest, I don't think Tenebris. I don't want Tenebris. I think Tenebris is so hard to do, especially if you're going to try to do a Bith. And I think
they can't do a Bith. I think for regular fans, it would be really silly to see a Bith Sith Lord.
Well, get used to it.
Brooke hit the nail on the head, and that
I agree.
It allows what Luke's saying. Like, I don't think that he can be anything other than a Sith. I really don't. And I think we've talked about it before, where we could see either Chimere or Osha, because I do think Osha is going to be the acolyte of whoever it is still left standing at the end of this season.
Yep.
Inspiring the Knights of Ren.
Henceforth,
I think
you shall be
we
known
had that
as-
throwaway line in episode
Is it
4.
5 or 4 or 5?
Episode 4 about splinter orders.
Yes.
Yes.
So we could talk about splinter orders of the Jedi. We could talk about splinter orders of the Sith. Because obviously we have, the whole, the rule of 2 and blah, blah, blah. My thought process with Chimere talking about how he wants freedom and he wants a pupil is that he hates the rule of 2 and he thinks that people should be able to be Sith if they want to be, but he also doesn't want to be a Sith because of that rule, which is why he says you would call me one, but he doesn't say I am one. And
Yes.
So I think his whole thing is, and I wrote it once again in my stupid ass long notes. His whole thing is from a certain point of view.
Oh, absolutely.
His whole thing is from a certain point of view. The way that he was semantics, I was like, okay. And then he was like, oh, you only think that way because the Jedi forced you to think that way. They prescribe this one way to use the Force, and if you don't do it their way, then you lose it, kind of thing. So his whole thing is very much like, because I don't think he sees himself as a villain in any respect. He sees himself, I think, as amoral rather than immoral. And I think that doesn't necessarily align with the Sith unless you're talking about how like the Sith philosophy is like destructive hedonism, but I don't know. Like it really comes down to what your perspective is on. My cat just scratched me something fierce.
No,
so
yeah,
I'm like
no,
leaning
but
on my left. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. She jumped on my lap and scratched me.
You're right, Emma, though, because and then that makes sense for because I think Chimere's gonna bite the dust and Plagueis is gonna be the one who does it. Because the way you're talking about, he wants to bring back the original Sith, the Sith Order that was thousands strong, whereas Plagueis and Tenebris are like obviously after Bane created the rule of two, Plagueis is a very staunch believer in only having two Sith. And if that's the case,
it's about the consolidation of power. It's all about consolidation of power.
Exactly. And if they do that, I think that's perfect. Plagueis is in the wings waiting, and I think the finale is going to end up on Cortosis. I'm not on Cortosis, but on Baldemnik, or what I'm calling
Cortosis, the planet.
Yes.
But that does sound like a planet, a Star Wars planet, right?
Christophsis, yeah, sure.
But I think that's probably I could see that happening, or it's just May and Soul showing up, and then somehow they all die besides Osha.
You know how poetic it would be if Chimere died in his sleep from Plagueis?
Oh, he just sucks the life force out of him?
No, it just kills him in his sleep. Just like his eventual apprentice.
No, go ahead, Kels.
No, okay, this is like a slightly side tangent, but this is going off with the Plagueis thing. Mainly because I want to see him again. Someone needs to bring Ochi into this.
Oh my God. How old is Ochi?
Yeah, I was gonna say
that.
Ochi would be alive.
Because Maz Kanata's in the High Republic, and he's the same species as her. And he's a Sith. He's literally a Sith assassin. So like, he could literally show up somewhere
whenever.
Yeah.
Will he?
And Kels would melt at the
I
sight.
want him to. Ochi's gonna show up in the Acolyte, and that's my outlandish theory. He's gonna show up at one point, and I'm gonna pass out and die probably, because I am one of like 3 Ochi fans.
I still have not read that book. I need to
read that.
Oh my God!
I need to read it.
So good.
It's on the shelf. It's here somewhere. It's if I can figure out it's here somewhere.
Two
maybe down
rolls
here.
of blonde Matt Smith.
Here.
I think that would be too much for people to handle.
No, but no. Could you imagine that though? At the end, it's
that would
like
make
so
him
like we go
really,
from Osha or May to being Plagueis' first apprentice, and then all of a sudden he finds So like, let's say but like if you wanted to make that make sense, you could push the timeline. You could in between seasons, you could have a time.
You have to do some jumps.
Yeah, you can do jumps.
So here's the thing that I think they will do is I could be totally wrong in this. I don't think the Master will be Plagueis. I think it will be. I don't think it's going to be Tenebris or Venomous. I think it's going to be a new character. I think if we look at everything that Disney has done, their focus has been on new characters. Based on what Leslie has said, based on the things they've clearly been hinting at, I think we will get a reference towards the end of the episode 8 to Damask Holdings.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't think we will get a like on-screen. If we get an on-screen Plagueis, it will be something to do with like Damask Holdings or just Higo Damask. I think they will end the show with like, we know who the Master is, and the Master, killed Chimere or killed Osha or May or whatever, and now we have a new lineage, and the finale is kind of like how we got with Andor, with the what they were building were the parts of the Death Star is
when it zoomed out and it was like the frame of the Death Star. The gas,
Yeah.
like
See,
gas.
I
I assumed that it would be Death Star parts, but then like the shot where it was like
when it's
this
like
tiny little piece of the frame, and then you zoom out and they're building the laser. I was like, fuck.
I could almost see like a scene of one of the Sith, right? Whoever we have that is like the remaining Sith, and being like, we need to go somewhere. There will be, like, hey, meet me here. And like the finale scene is just in front of a building that says Damask Holdings in Orabesh, and just something along those lines. If it's like you're not going to see him, but he's been involved at least from the very beginning, whatever it may be. I think that is what they're going to do. Again, based on what Leslie has said and based on what we've seen and heard through their show, they clearly want to do expanded universe stuff with this show. And
Agreed.
I think Plagueis is a big part of that. I think having him not be on screen sets up the potential for a season 2 really well.
Absolutely.
So I think Chase, the only reason why I would disagree with you is because there is one performer that we have not yet seen in this show, and I feel like, and that's David Harewood,
and he would kill Plagueis.
Also, didn't she say in an interview that we would see both the Master and the Apprentice? So either Camille's already the Apprentice,
we said we would see 2 Sith.
She said we see 2 Sith. So either Camille's already the Apprentice, and we'll see both.
My thing was always that one of the reasons that Chimere is looking for an apprentice is because he needs help to overthrow his master.
Yeah, just like the Sith.
Agreed.
Just like the Sith.
Yeah,
I could see Chimere being the actual acolyte.
That's what I mean. Like he is like, okay, it's time for me to move up on the, like, do you know what I mean?
Yes, move up the
ladder of the ranks, and so he, as is tradition, needs an apprentice waiting in the wings in order to become, like his full. I don't know. Full. Well, and also, just like a Padawan isn't a Jedi Knight.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's you would call me a Sith because he's not a Sith.
Not actually a Sith.
He's the apprentice.
But
that could once again be semantics. But that is something I noticed. I just think that would be, because I wrote down so many things in my notes. But when he was talking about, like, we were talking about, what do you want? And he says the power of 2. My question was, is he talking about a dyad, or is he talking about like the rule of 2, the power of 2, master and apprentice? Because both of those things are realistic, because I still think the reason that Osha and May were created was because the witches were trying to create a dyad.
Yeah.
That is my personal opinion. And so I think that trying to like force the dyad rather than having like the will of the force type thing is sort of what's at play here. Mm-hmm. But he's wording it in a way, like in verbiage that she understands because of growing up in the Brendok Coven. Because the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many, like that is the indoctrination that she grew up in. And so him saying that is her, like, understand, like him knowing that is a level of communication that she will understand. But I'm really unsure, because I think the dyad aspect is more of an equally balanced business, whereas master and apprentice is inherently imbalanced when it comes to power, right?
Well, and
like the one is subservient to another versus equals. I don't know.
I think too, though, it opens up the explanation for why Kylo's theme opens up. Because to your point,
That-
he's not actually a Sith. He's playing at being a Sith. Kylo is playing at being a Sith. He wants to be his grandfather who was a Sith, but he's not actually
He's
a
a
Sith.
pretender. He's
So
not
they're
actually
trying-
inheriting the.
He's like
Exactly.
Aegon the
So they're
Second.
trying to draw the parallels there by giving you that hint musically.
yeah.
That was sort of where it sort of tipped me off, because I was like, okay, I feel like she wants us to think about the dyad. So like, what does this mean?
Well, and also
hope-
think about this though. If it is Plagueis though, it does make sense for him to pick up Osha, because she was created by the two, and he is so enamored with the creation of life specifically. Again,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, please go read Darth Plagueis, because the Acolyte is doing so many hints to this goddamn book.
I do want to rein that in, because again, what I said, Disney's really focused on new characters. Like, they love bringing in characters that you're familiar with and having them be involved in the storyline. But I do see them wanting to like establish new characters, original characters that we haven't seen. I would put money on it that by the end of episode 8 there will be a connection to Plagueis in one way or another.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
How big that connection is, it remains to be seen. But
We should just go with what Brooke said, which is to make Osha Plagueis. That wouldn't melt anyone's
yes.
brains at all.
Yes, I would love that.
Make Osha Plagueis and just piss off the fanboys even more. Let's just make them mad.
It would be
Fuck
like,
yeah.
yes, let me drink your salty ass.
Yes.
I wouldn't hate that, because then it makes sense for the obsession of creating. I like that.
Oh no,
I like that a
but
lot.
I'll say this
So-
right. I'll say this right now. If that's what happens with Osha being Plagueis, let me tell you, I feel like it's gonna be January 6th on Twitter. It's gonna be absolutely nuts. If
I'm
that's
bringing
if that's the
marshmallows to toast on the fire of these
might-
guys, because they
I
are
might
there
have
will-
to
there will
private
be
my
an
account again,
insurrection.
but it's fine.
So okay, let me say this: I'm not against the idea of Osha being Plagueis,
Yeah.
or taking on the name Darth Plagueis. Right? There would have to be a season 2, like giving her that name. Okay, what are you gonna do with it? She has the potential know-how of how to kind of create life with the Force, because she was created through Mother Anastaea's knowledge of the Force.
Yes.
What,
The thread, yeah.
like, if we end the Acolyte and Osha becomes Darth Plagueis and Finn no more, I'm like, I would not like that. I would
That
be
would
like,
be cheap.
I agree.
That would be.
it would be like,
incredible.
yeah, we used Plagueis because we knew you liked the name, and like yeah, like you said, very cheap. Like, you would have to give me the greatest cliffhanger of all time for that to work, and then promise me a season 2, or just
I
say
think they've
it's not
mentioned
the
wanting to
Acolyte,
make a
it's-
season 2.
yeah.
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 It hasn't.
It was pitched as a multi-season show.
I
So-
believe so. I don't know all the details. I know it was pitched. I think it was only greenlit for 1 season.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's correct.
But it
Because that's how
like
Disney Plus does it. They greenlight for 1 season and then see how it
It's-
does. But it's been doing really well view
yeah,
wise.
the
Yeah,
numbers
it's in the
are
top
doing
2.
well.
But then
Like-
again, I have already been burned with Willow. I'm so scared, besties. I am so scared that it's just gonna get shelved. Like,
That's
talking
fair.
about Jason and Jaina, that show. Mm.
Oh yeah.
I will say this. Talking what Brooke bringing up this point, we don't have a canonical date for when Plagueis was alive.
Exactly.
Like, that has
Yeah,
been brought up.
just like
So-
Kiadi Mundi.
So literally, Plagueis could be alive. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Plagueis
You
could
got to bring the
be-
Saurian into it.
Yeah, you
Oh
gotta bring him in.
God, don't bring me back.
Because
to
both-
those eras.
technically, well, Hugo Damask is technically from Megiddo, so that's kind of funny as well.
But in
If
If I
canon,
have
he
to
is
see that
immune.
man's
In-
face ever again, I will shoot myself.
If you go on Wikipedia to the
Facts.
canon, it says that Darth Plagueis is immune.
Hate that man.
So,
But also, we did a really deep dive into this whole thing because we were having a really long conversation. That comes from a role playing game, so that could easily
That could easily be retconned.
easily.
But again, like
canon.
We don't know these things, so like Plagueis could still be there, but he also couldn't.
Dark
be there
Disciple.
Oh,
Chase,
yeah.
Dark Disciple.
I love
Wow,
having this book highlighted all the
we're
time.
really-
It's
I love
great.
that I'm here and you said that.
We're literally hitting.
Yeah.
We're literally hitting all of Kels's like obsessions on this episode.
Oh yeah.
First, Eamon's dong, then Alice Rivers, then Convergence.
Ochi.
now Dark
I brought up
Disciple.
Ochi.
And Ochi.
And
And then
Ochi.
Wedge. Don't forget Wedge Antilles. We did bring up
Oh,
Wedge
yeah,
Antilles at the
Wedge-
very, very
that's
start.
well.
Wedge
So
Antilles is Plagueis.
all we have to do is for bingo is just talk about the Riddler, and we're good.
Yes. And then we have the
All right.
bingo.
Alright.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Also, since Lucas Egg is on the right, don't forget about Gollum either.
Okay, let's go around. Let's go around so we can kind of bring it back into the Acolyte with this episode alone, and we'll go Luke, Char, Hereth, Emma, me, Nick, and then Kels. What is your favorite part and least favorite part of the episode? And then we can kind of talk about the fandom madness and its sizzling out. But
Oh yeah, my favorite
okay.
group of people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But Luke, what
So
is your like favorite part of the episode and least favorite part of the episode? This particular episode, not just the show, but this episode.
Honestly, I really, really enjoyed the moments between the characters that we did get. Like I had to rewatch it a second time because I wasn't a big fan of it the first time. And if you watch the discussion that we had at the end of the reaction, I was very much like, okay, like from what we got last week to what we got this week, I felt like, and this is just me, this is not, it's my own formed opinion. I just felt like, and this is also, we talk about expectations, people's expectations not being met. I think having that high of an episode and then having this for me was just like, okay, but I understand why they did that. It's because you have to build up these relationships and do all that. So I was kind of giving it a little bit more grace, and when I watched it a second time, it made more sense to me.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
And I think the number one thing that I absolutely did not like about this episode was the cutting. That's just, I feel like that's been pretty consistent throughout the most consistent complaint besides the length of the episode that I've really had a problem with. So I mean that's kind of both, and I mean the ending with Osha putting on the mask is very, very interesting to me because
What
that
Luke should have done in Return of the Jedi.
It opens up a whole, yeah, literally. No, it opens up it opens a whole different
Oh my
possibility
god.
of what her story is going to be.
And I talked to Hereth about it. I was like, is this like a Darth Momin-esque mask? Is this how we're gonna have her
See,
be
that
more
was hinted
inclined
at.
to
That was
turn?
hinted at. I don't think
I was
so.
like, why was it so imperative for her to put it on? Like,
I was love that she had like Darth Vader breathing while she had it on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was interesting as
That
well.
was absolutely on purpose.
Yes.
Had to have been, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I liked and disliked about this episode. All right, next person.
Bad boy Chuck.
oh, how are you?
Favorite parts,
Well-
least favorite parts.
Well, I mean, my favorite part was Soul figuring out it was May, and also
I think he
He
knew.
knew from
I
the
think he
beginning,
knew
but that's
as soon
just
as
me
she
the
walked
whole
up to
time.
You think he did? Yeah,
I think
And he
I
was
should've
just
knew the
playing
whole
her.
time.
Yeah.
He was
That's
just
just
playing
me.
coy just to see what she would do.
Yeah.
I
and
think
then
I think him saying Osha, like very deliberately to her, was the tell.
Yeah.
Like, he knows. He
Yeah.
knows.
How she would react. Yeah, that's for
And
sure.
then another thing that I really liked was the dialogue between Kymir and Osha during that one scene where she thinks that she's still representing the Jedi, and he's like, "Why do you call yourself a Jedi when they didn't want you?" Like that line hit hard.
Oh,
Hey, and
let me just.
and our group chat, I sent the video of me writing poetry. If you want to pull it up,
So
much
Char,
about
when you
that.
watched Kymir hand her the soup, did you go, how did he do that?
oh yeah. I was like,
And then there's deep lore to that.
This is
Boiled
canon?
water.
Boiled water.
Boiled water's canon. I'm
This is
fucked.
this is not my canon.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
And then and the thing that I didn't really like about it is like, I don't know if I should just like say it out loud, but like nothing really happened.
I think
Nothing really
character development happened,
down.
but things didn't.
Character
happen.
development did happen, yeah.
Yeah, character development did happen. I agree.
Well, I mean, we already got the development like in the first like 4 episodes, but we're seeing drastic changes to the character.
Yeah.
This is
I
like
think that's important.
this is like a shift with the characters. We already know what the characters are and what they stand for, but we're seeing
Now
the tide change.
yeah, where their positions are is shifting. Like there's potential to switch sides for a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
Hereth, favorite part,
Good soup.
least favorite part. Good
Favorite part, I would go into like what Luke said earlier. Like I really love the dynamics between Kamir and Osha and what's going on there, and the psychology of like how Kamir works, and like the whole like, oh, I'm just gonna give you the lightsaber and just kind of let you just hold on to it and just kind of see if you're gonna like flip it on me. And then also, I would say second part or to favorite part would be, man, what's going on with Soul? Like the fact that like grief is just crippling him so much that he can't even face the Jedi head on and confront them about what happened on Brendox, to the point where he felt like he had to jump out of there and knock out May. What the fuck happened on Brendox next week? Anyway, least favorite part, Luke hit the nail on the head. As the editor, it's the editing. I just wish each scene was like a minute longer. That's all I want. Just give me more moments.
And also, another thing that I also wanted to bring up, because we find out that Chimera was a former Jedi.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes.
And Nick, Hereth, and I were talking about it, and it's wild to think that this is his Jedi Master, but we're thinking that it's Vernestra because it looks like whip marks. I don't know if that was what we thought about, like maybe.
I thought that too, but I
Vernestra's
was like, I
no.
think that's out of character, not only for
Control.
Vernestra, but for
Control.
a Jedi
You
who's
must learn
still-
control.
Yeah.
But
Is it really?
But
Because
is
he
it?
could have. Because he
there
could
are
have.
accidents happen.
Well, but we also don't
Look at
we still
Emery.
don't
Look at
know-
Emery, my dear child.
Well,
I mean, we
wait
don't-
till
we
you
don't
read
know-
Phase
Oh,
3.
Emery.
We don't know what
Where's the
caused him to
Nene?
leave the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
For all we know, there was a conflict that happened between whoever
He
his
could
master
have
was,
fought
whether it was
Vernestra.
not.
I
Yeah.
think that's possible. He could have fought her. But Emma, favorite part in your book of goodies. Favorite
Yes.
part,
Just
least favorite part.
um,
If you see in
no, but
section
in all
49,
seriousness,
Oh,
I was
wow.
not.
She
Wow,
Keep turning. Keep turning.
Around.
Now
Nice.
I feel really bad that all I got out of that was horny. I am a terrible
No,
person.
no,
if you look really close, it does just say horny over and over again.
Horny.
Oh no, he's
Oh
hot.
no. He's hot.
Oh no, he's hot.
Wait, isn't that the Squidward lineup?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, he's hot.
Yeah, so I had a lot of things that I really loved about this episode. I had a lot of questions too. I think that one of the things that I loved the most about it was that it was very Last Jedi coded. There were
Yes.
so many nods, both visually and narratively, and there's no way that they weren't on purpose, and I loved that so much. What else? I said very sexy, very TLJ. Lovely, quiet character moments, which I talked about already. We're starting to see more contrast between Osha and May, which I think is really, really interesting. And very cute new creatures on unknown planets.
Oh, the little
those
duck
little
Yeah, those are-
duck things. Oh my god!
Very cute.
love
And the fact
them.
that they cuddle with each other. Oh, that's
Yeah, I
great.
saw
It's just so
Star Wars
cute.
post the Instagram post about them. They're called Skura, and in the
Yeah.
script they were described as part anteater, part duck.
And I just think that's so
I'm
precious.
obsessed with
I love tiny flora and fauna. One thing that I did notice is that the shape of Kymir's scar on his back is, in fact, exactly the same shape as Ray's scar on her arm.
Oh.
Oh,
The
so
Y-
Dyad is definitely
the
happening.
Y shape. The Y shape. I thought that was really interesting because we had so many dedicated shots to Ray's scar in the sequels. I don't think that was a non-purposeful visual cue. What else did I say? Oh, everything that Kymir said.
Like Ray.
Yeah, that 100%.
Yeah.
That's 100% on
100%.
purpose. Everything that Kymir says is both completely benign and wildly suggestive.
Oh yeah.
Like what he's saying isn't crass by any stretch, but it's completely suggestive. The symbolism of Kymir shedding his dark clothes and also the persona that we have become accustomed to, and he's being cleansed by the water. It was very much giving a ritual bath, and reminded me sort of what we got in Mando. And then he's wearing the light-colored tunic after bathing.
Also,
Very
I said
interesting.
in the reaction, also it's giving Luke in Last Jedi when he's showing Rey that he's hunting on the island. Obviously,
Yes.
he's not going hunting, but still, it kind of gives that kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
And then there was one tiny moment where Manny says, "Wait for the tide to go out," and the way he says it was incredibly Canadian, and I was like, "I see you, I see you." It was just a really small thing, but I really loved. And then at the bottom of this page, you'll see it's across 2 pages. Why do you love people who can only go so far? Or why do you love people who can only go so far? I was like, well, damn. I mean, because I would love to know more about Yord and Osha, because I think that there was some love lost
Where's the
there
novel?
in this. Yeah, in the sense.
Where's the Padawan novel? I need a Padawan Yord and Osha
Literally,
novel.
though. Because it was very much evoking that he resented her for leaving. Because it's one of those things like you have a plan for your life and you sort of have expectations for how like you're going to cross these milestones and things like that. Because I'm sure they thought they were going to do their trials at the same time. And, you know, like these people, like someone that you've grown up with, and then she left. And I think he felt betrayed and abandoned by that, which is perhaps why we found him in such a detached mode when he's like trying to bring her in. Anyway, what I didn't like was that it was not long enough, and also there was no smooching. Anyway,
so true.
I think those are 2 very valid reasons to be your least favorite part. I'm just going to piggyback off of what you said because my favorite part of this episode was Kymir, hands down.
Oh God, yeah, just like beautiful delivery on every single point that he was giving. Yeah,
he's so good in this role, and it's so funny. Just I'm on season 4 of The Good Place and watching going back and forth between the 2 shows. I'm like, this is great, and now I'm just watching The Good Place. I'm like, that's my beautiful Sith Lord. You're right. Say the stupid things, but the thing that like struck me more than anything about Kymir is what Obi-Wan says in episode 4 is like your father was seduced or Darth Vader was seduced by the dark side, and the horniness of this episode is not unintentional. It is
very much giving seduction. Yes.
It is, and I like to conflate it to like what we're seeing Osha go through is understanding why she don't know what's going to happen yet, could go to the dark side because she is more or less literally seduced into it. And the way that he talks to Osha in this episode is like a vampire and like in a Bram Stoker like esque style novel of
like in a gothic way.
Yeah. I'm not going to hurt you. I know what you're feeling. I can take everything away and I can make everything better, but it's up to you. And he's saying it while it's like, do you mind if I get dressed first? Like,
That was outrageous. That was outrageous.
It is.
Oh my god, he was insane for that.
It's just the way they're doing that, and this is the thing that like I think was so interesting about episode 5, where we see this like what I think most Star Wars fans think of when they think of a Sith is this red lightsaber, savage. I'm gonna kill everyone around me. I'm the ultimate badass. The Star Killer moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go from a super action heavy episode to basically only dialogue, and Chimere both like physically and verbally seducing Osha over to the dark side. Not to him, specifically not to him, to the dark side. And I think that's incredible. And just like watching him do it and then like watching it again, I was like, God damn, they know exactly what they're doing. And I think this is going to go over a lot of people's heads and people are going to think this is boring, but I'm like, this is how the Sith operate, like first and foremost. So I think it's great. If I had to pick a least favorite part, the really petty thing is I thought the noise of the lightsaber whip was weak.
If in my opinion, I thought they could have saved that moment.
I agree. I wish it wouldn't have been on the moth thing.
Agreed. Like they hyped it up in the trailer, and then you use it for that moment. That
I think we're gonna see it again. It's not even. I think it looked fine. I just thought I was hoping for like a booming crack that we like, something you've like a seismic charge, holdo maneuver moment of like, whoa, we have not heard that yet. That is awesome, and that's what I was really hoping for. We didn't get it, and I would also agree with you, Emma. I think this episode should have been longer, but I do think that episode 6 did more with the time it had than episode 4 did.
I agree.
And I think it's like it's all about how you fill that time, and they filled it with consistently good stuff. And like, yes, I wanted more Chimere, I wanted more Soul, I wanted more Vernestra. I wanted everyone to have a little bit more of a moment. And you said it at the beginning of this, is it's like, we got 2 episodes left. Like, what are we got to wrap this up at some point. And based on what they've been doing overall, I do have faith that they're going to stick this landing. But yeah, those are the 2 things that like, it was again, like I think I psyched myself up for like, oh man, I hope the lightsaber whip has this super cool sound. It didn't. And I just wanted more, which, like I said, it's like that's like a good problem to have. I want more. But Nick,
holy shit, can we just real quick?
Aiden in the chat.
Aiden's back.
What the hello?
Aiden's spying on us.
Yeah, you lurker.
And
the Watchers here.
Cal Forer's in there as well.
Cal. Thanks for popping in. All right, anyway, sorry, Nick.
Nick, favorite, least favorite part of the episode.
So I'll get my least favorite out of the way first, and it's the ending. I don't like the jarringness of the way that it felt like Osha or May and Soul's ending was the ending, and then we hopped over and had to have this ending with Osha. Don't get me wrong, it was a good scene. It just felt so out of step with what felt like a natural ending.
It's kind of like they had 2 really good endings and they couldn't figure out which one to put first.
Yeah,
which one would.
Yeah, and I think it was you, Chase, said it would have been great if they'd switched it around.
Yeah,
or was it?
And then Chase said that, and then I said I wish they would have used it at the beginning of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked the reverent way that she was touching the helmet, like the moment that she spent with it, and then like looking at the vein of cortosis like above the helmet. I think like you said, the scene is really good. I don't know that I found it quite as jarring as perhaps you did, but I can definitely see your perspective on that. It definitely felt more like a cold open.
Vindication.
There you go. What I will say that I loved, and it kind of builds off of like Manny Jacinto in this episode, just a powerhouse performance to me.
Oh god.
Like from start to finish, even just the way that he walked towards the pool of water that he was going to go get cleaned in, was just like this aloofness of, I know you're there, but I'm going to make you think that I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in the water, make you think that I don't know you're there, but I know you're there. And I think
when she's holding the lightsaber and he just says, "Feels good, doesn't it?"
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It was like there was no reason for that like super benign sentence because it's just
that's the High
super
Republic.
benign.
Anything
But,
benign can be horny so easily.
Anything can be horny in the horny Republic.
Well, look at the way Palpatine. Look at how Palpatine's like, I can feel your anger. You can like he gets like some sort of like rise out of it. Yeah.
There
we didn't
is
know how to do it.
Yeah, no, but you know what? There is a pseudo sort of like sexualization of that.
Like a satisfaction.
Lightsabers are phallic objects. Lightsabers are very phallic
100%. 100%.
Like, I'm sorry, like him saying that to her when she doesn't think he's looking, when he does like it's so intentional.
She thinks she's pulled one over on him. Meanwhile, he left his lightsaber out so she would touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me
that lightsaber's big.
It reminds me of Umbara. You're in a position of power now. It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why would you bring up
Umbara?
Fuck
Umbara, no. Umbara, no.
All the
fuck
homies
always fuck Pongkrell.
But it feels good,
homies,
doesn't it? CT-7567.
Fucking crazy cat.
But I want to go back to the stream that we had before the first episode even aired, and we were talking about what we thought was going to take this show up and over the top to be one of the top Star Wars shows. And I had two things. I don't think Geode's going to show up in a bar in the last two.
He was in every scene on the Unknown Planet. What are you talking about?
Actually, the Vintian home planet, that's what we're going to find out. That's and it's all just Geodes around us. But the other thing that I said was I wanted to see someone buy into being a Sith willingly. And we started to see that in this episode. Chimere didn't lie.
Rather
Chimere
than a
didn't
fall.
manipulate. He laid it out for Osha to see plainly. There was no trickery. There was no hiding. And she's buying it. She's coming over to it. And to see that happening because of that reason and not because of hatred like we saw with Anakin or a choice to try and save someone or what we've seen in other things, to see that play out is really cool to see. And I want to see that be present in the last two episodes as well to really sell that Osha is becoming an acolyte of the Sith. So that was a high point for me in this episode.
I know what you mean. I think that is a really great point in that, like, we have Anakin where he was like groomed as what?
Sorry, 100%. No. Brooke, there is no one hornier in the High Republic than Geode. And if you guys don't know what it is we're talking about, go read the fucking High Republic.
Dude, it's great.
But yeah, you have Anakin who like is lied to and groomed his whole life, like dominoes being set up, right? And then you have one last one, and then they all fall into place, and he falls to the dark side. And then once he falls, he realizes that like, oh, I fucked up. Like this was not what I wanted. But now it's like a sunk cost fallacy thing. He's like, well, I've already done all of this evil, horrible shit. I'm irredeemable. Versus what you're saying, where like Chimere is just like being honest about what he has to offer, and he is not overselling it. He's not offering something that he can't actually deliver on, like Palpatine talking about how he knows the secret to save the ones you love from death, which is not true.
Anakin forgot that part.
That we
but you know what I mean? Like you've got all of these things where like he's just being honest and he's being truthful with her, which as we can see, like everybody that she's ever loved has not been truthful with her entire life. Yeah. And so now if bad, why honest? If bad, why honest?
And also like there's no
evil, why sexy?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
There's no power dynamic at play here. Like this is not him trying to display as he's the big, more intimidating person. Like he's given her all the power for this.
He's
time
given
on
her.
this planet.
He's given her a way out. He's like, here's how you
Yep.
leave. If you want to
Yep.
leave, you need to do it now.
I mean,
or you're gonna have to
he
wait in the
holds
morning, and you're
the
gonna have to wait in this
lightsaber.
little sexy, intimate cave with me, and who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, he holds the lightsaber right up against his chest and basically goes, "Look, this is what you came to do, isn't it? So do
Turn it on.
Like she
Yeah.
holds all of the power there right now.
The thing that I really do like that episode 5 and episode 6 has done with lightsabers is they've treated the hilt as a dangerous object. When he holds the hilt to her head, to May's head, and he's like, oh, and it's like it's acting as a gun at that point, but like we've never seen anyone do that, and I think it's the first time that like I know it's gonna sound stupid that the lightsaber has really felt like a deadly weapon. It's been a glow stick that definitely can cut people in half and stuff like that, but like just the hilt itself, like realizing the power that this thing has, and all we had, because what thing we got in Last Jedi that I thought was so great was in the throne room when Rey throws the lightsaber to Kylo, he catches it, turns it on and off, and the Praetorian Guard is done for. And him doing that,
incredibly sexy of him to do.
Yes,
respectfully.
And like, you know, as a kid, that was like, oh, it would be so cool if someone just like flashlighted someone with a lightsaber, and then we get it in the Last Jedi. But him threatening someone with a lightsaber and it's not ignited, and then in the following episode, he's like, he puts the hilt to him, like, just turn it on, just do it, just turn it on. It's all you need to do to make this end. And if you don't want to do that.
And that's the beauty of what Brooke's saying right here. The thing
Brooke,
about,
did you just
the thing
read
about good
Temptation of
villains,
the Force or something?
I will say this. Multiple times have been discussed who has the best lightsaber hilt for that type of.
Oh God!
Obi-Wan's.
Not the Remy
It's
episode. Not the
definitely-
Remy
it's definitely
episode.
Obi-Wan.
Jesus Christ!
It's definitely Obi-Wan's.
I thought we said Stellan's at one point.
Whoa!
So you get the cross guard alone.
I mean, Kalnaka's saber's pretty big.
Ooh,
I mean, I think if you
Hereth.
asked,
Hereth's bad.
it would be
Wrong.
Elvis.
Speaking of horny, there's Kels.
I mean,
My laptop decided to die. It's fine. It freaked out. So we're on my
well,
phone now.
Well, Kel, since you're here,
Hello.
There's that.
tell
You can
me-
have fun with that.
tell me, you missed lightsaber sex toy talk. I'm really
No!
well, you see, here's the thing about Chimera saber. It can split into two, so multi-purposeful.
Dang it.
And I feel
You
like
can decide what that means. You can decide what split into two means. But
power of two.
I think we are really forgetting Dooku's hilt.
It looks like a dildo.
It's
It
curved.
does.
It's curved. It's,
I mean,
it's
you
got
see
a
the way-
natural. It has a natural curve to it.
Dooku.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Christopher Lee
There's
is
a little hook
is
doing
a
on the front,
We're
huh?
not off the
handsome
rails completely here at all.
What's that
Kels,
hook
We've
doing on the
lost
front,
the
huh?
plot of the episode,
Kels,
which
we have
the
not-
plot
we
is
have not-
sexy. So
we have not lost the plot. The plot is Chimera being naked. Kel,
Yeah.
Exactly.
What
So
was
true.
your favorite part of the episode? What was your least favorite part of the episode?
Okay, my favorite part of the so obviously I know that there were a lot of like Reylo connections,
Mhm.
but because I'm me, I also picked up a lot of convergence connections because they were giving Axel Angela the entire episode and it was driving me insane. But also what got me was the way that he was so violent in the last episode with just everything he was doing. Like, just so quick to violence and killing. It's so easy to him. But then in this episode, how he's so gentle when he touches Osha. Like, it's just, like, such soft, gentle touches. And I'm just like, this is driving me insane. And
The way he grabs her arm like this, like
Yes.
as they're holding this, so I was like, "Sir, I
was
need
like,
you to see
hello?
this."
Oh my god. I loved it.
now we know what the intimacy coordinator was on set for.
Mhm. Well, hopefully
Yeah.
that's not all, but we
Hopefully
shall,
not
we shall
all,
see.
because I think also maybe part of the reason they played the Kylo theme, that's a Ren theme, was because they're gonna raw dog on the screen. Anyway,
I agree.
Yeah.
that's what that really meant.
Sex on screen in Star Wars? Could it
Whoa,
be?
Yeah, we got
They
an
already do
Andor.
that.
We
Wow.
got
We've
an
gotten
Andor.
it. Hey,
There's
we've
sex.
gotten
There's
it
sex in
on
Andor.
page.
Yes, we have. In
And we've
Several
got it on
times.
screen.
Oh,
So
I
maybe
haven't
we
gotten
can
that
get it.
far. I haven't gotten that far yet.
We've gotten cutaways. We've gotten the morning afters. I
Well,
haven't
in
read
Andor-
Temptation of the Forest, but I hear that might be a thing.
Hey,
oh,
Ferrex
it
gets
is
frisky, let me
fucking
tell you.
steamy, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no. Wait. Look. People have told me, like, when people told me Rising Storm was steamy, that was the most
No.
disappointing shit I ever read in my life.
No, Chase.
When I say
Chase.
it's steamy, Kels can back me up. It is
Yes.
fucking
Chase.
Yes.
Tessa Gratton. Okay, it's tame for Tessa Gratton standards because they've written like insane sex scenes before, but like I know for a fact they pushed it as far as they could by Star Wars publishing standards.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So-
I will accept that because I know that there are like limitations in Star Wars.
Yeah,
writing
yeah,
where They cannot.
Like
do
obviously
certain
they're not
things.
gonna like it is a fade to black, but it still is like before you get to the fade, you're like,
But
oh,
You
like
need a moment. You need a moment after that.
If I don't
like,
get a
the last time I
detailed
needed
description of Elzar's anatomy,
Mother of God!
the last time I needed a moment was the cave scene in Lost Stars.
oh, Lost Stars. Yeah, that I was.
Lost Stars
You're
was
close.
haven't
good,
read
but
Lost Stars.
it's a good fade to black moment, but like
It's
sort
fade
of
to black because it's YA.
yeah.
It's fade to black because YA, but they also had the morning after, both laying in bed naked next to each other.
Yep, that was
Twice.
pretty
So let me
sexy.
ask you this. So did they need a morning after?
Well, this one they didn't because they got to a place that they needed to go to, so they
Yes.
didn't have time.
Next mission.
But had they had time, there would have been a morning after.
There would have been a morning
That's all I'm
after.
saying.
Yeah,
Oh,
the morning after scene in Rising Storm was wildly disappointing.
Was
to me.
Elzar be like, oh fuck,
Oh fuck!
gotta go.
It's like,
Elzar-
and like
Elzar just-
I think the way it was written was interesting, where he's kind of getting these moments of like snippets of what happened the night before. It's like it was like an interesting part, but I'm like, oh man, if this is like the lead up to the steamy part, I wonder what's gonna. Oh no, the book's over. What?
Yeah.
But speaking of steamy,
Speaking of steamy and sex and Star Wars, which apparently I love talking about, I guess.
well, I would say the Star Wars fandom's pretty steamy. And I do.
Steaming pile of shit? A steaming
Yes.
pile of
Steaming?
shit?
Yeah.
You mean how I had to private my account a couple weeks ago because I had 900 plus incels in my comments
Dude, that was
harassing me?
fucking
That was
insanity.
awful.
I'm so
That was-
sorry.
That was Eternals level bad. Like I haven't experienced that since the Eternals era, and the Eternals era was really bad.
You mean it's bad when the entire community has to step up and start dunking on one specific person to be like, shut the fuck up.
Well, and then what's annoying is then Wookman, there's a whole thing, but like share this one screenshot, and then like the entirety of the fandom started defending him, and I was just like, okay, you'll defend the white man. Hello, like.
Oh shit.
Like I had my friends, but besides that, I was just kind of like on my own, and it was kind of a lot. It was. Oh my
It's-
god! All I said was
it's-
like, "Hey, Acolyte good," and it was people just sending me death threats over that. I'm like, "Cool, this is great, love that."
How dare you have a positive opinion on
Oh
this
yeah, and then we
show?
got the positive video on
No.
top of it, and I was like, "Don't get me started! Don't get me started! Don't even get me started!" On that fucking video.
If we
I-
keep talking about that video, Tate's gonna show up here and start singing Imagine to all of us.
No.
As he should, because I told him to. I was like, Tate, just start swinging. Let's go.
Oh wait,
Come on.
Kels, you did that? That was an S tier video.
No, Tate and I are a terrible duo. We will actually like cause chaos and harm. It's fine, but like,
Well, the thing that I kind of like, maybe to derail that, is the thing that I've noticed is after they got their PowerPoint presentation of Lightsaber Go Burr, they shut the fuck up.
they did.
They shut the fuck
but then
up.
But it's really funny how these so-called Legends fans, we know the type, where they're like trying to say how Disney's ruining Star Wars, and then they'll talk about Legend stuff, and I was like, this literally is the show for you. You don't understand. Like, Leslie has like made more references to Legends than George ever did, because George went out of his way to say how much he did not like Legends.
George didn't give a
Meanwhile,
fuck about
Leslie
it.
is bringing in all this Legend stuff into canon, and everyone's like going after her, and I'm like, this is what y'all want.
It's very much. I want Legends. I want Legends. Not like that.
Not like that. I'm like,
so I think a lot of this, and I've been going on TikTok live with a couple people that are kind of outside of our community just to have discourse. And the number one thing I've noticed is that people who are literally willing to vocalize and verbalize how they feel about it are more of sound mind, typically, than people who are just in comment sections. Like the anonymous, faceless comment sections, like they can say whatever they want. They have a profile that is just there to troll people, like whatever. But like talking to people, and like I met people that like agreed and disagreed, or kind of like I some people like I need to go rewatch this, and like talking to people like that, like exactly like you said, like, oh, you wanted Legends and now you're getting Legends and now you're complaining about it. And it's like, I think the issue is a lot of people, I'll call it and not that this isn't a slam against Wikipedia, but it is the Wikipedia-ification of the lore of like, you read that there was this cool thing that happened in the expanded universe, and you saw Star Wars Theory talk about it 5 years ago. You saw Star Wars Explained talk about it. You saw all this stuff, and now you think you're some like lore master when you don't know what's going on. And when these things are brought in front of you, you're confused, and people are like, no, this has been a thing. And like, I made a video on it of like, I don't care how many books you own. I own a lot of books. I own a lot of things Star Wars. It doesn't make me more of a fan or less of a fan.
No.
And it's just like, yeah, it's what I like. It's like, but I think a lot of these people, they get this mentality because they watched YouTube videos, or they watched Tate or Connor do all the videos, back in the day. And like, yeah, I know all about what a cell cath is. I know all about cortosis. And it's like, you don't, and that's okay, but stop being upset over it and saying you want the expanded universe when, like, I would go a step further. Leslie Headland has brought more expanded universe into canon, not only than George Lucas, than Disney has.
Yeah,
like,
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
It's so funny when they're like, we want weird Force stuff.
Yeah, she's exploring the Sith in the way that you guys have said you have wanted it for decades now.
Yeah.
And you're complaining. And again, now that Chimere has like, and this is the like, I love this scene of Chimere like snapping Yord's neck. Like, it is a brutal scene. It shows how vicious he is. It is a huge character moment for him. But for some people, it's like, finally, I got something cool. And I watched that annoying guy with the killdozer hair get his neck snapped. Like, that's how some people are reacting to it, which is like disgusting.
Which is so gross, especially when you consider all of the layers of that. When you consider, I've seen that is absolutely foul. Like, respectfully to the people in this room, that's absolutely foul, and that is all I will say about that. It is very much coming across as racist and a really gross violence fantasy, and all of that is rooted in white supremacy, and that does not belong in Star Wars. It doesn't belong in our fandom.
Absolutely.
Just for clarity,
Star Wars is not for everyone.
Star Wars is not for everyone.
Like,
so
there's a level of gatekeeping that like needs to be implemented, and not like the way that I think most people view gatekeeping as like, well,
name 17 droids from the Old Republic. Who is Darth Malgus's master?
Name all the clones.
Name every clone.
It's one of those things of like,
and these fanboys
these
fanboys think they can just go on social media and look and like see all these interesting facts about characters, and they think they know everything. Like, unbelievable.
But I will say this about and I don't. Here's okay.
Are you gonna try and play devil's advocate right now?
No, I am. because there are scenarios where people in the community are turning their nose up to others that don't feel the same way. And to that I say, shut the fuck up. Let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. Just because somebody hasn't been able to read the High Republic shouldn't take away from their enjoyment of what they're watching or having any critique. That's where you lose me, is that we all champion each other and say, hey, let's make a space, and then, oh, you don't like this? Oh, then I'm gonna tear you down. And that's
That's the toxic positivity that came out of the toxic negativity. We now have both sides, and they're both equally bad.
They both make me want to
so bad.
kill myself.
It makes it so hard to have a conversation.
I'll say this: I hate the term toxic positivity.
I get you.
I think it's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Well, it is. Yeah.
I think the idea is it's like, if you let's look at the people who we traditionally consider toxic, and let's be real, they're like Revenge of the Sith religious fanatics. They believe that Anakin can do no wrong. We don't say that they're toxic positive fans because of how much they love Revenge of the Sith. They're toxic fans because of their behavior online. Their positivity towards what they enjoy has nothing to do with it. The idea that like someone enjoying something, right, I don't think can be toxic. And I think people can have toxic behavior about the thing that they're enjoying, but them enjoying it isn't the toxic part. It's just their behavior and how they portray the fandom that they're supposed to represent.
Well, I think that I understand where you're getting at with that, and also I think that it depends on why someone likes something as well, because I only like this because there's no women and no black people in it is toxic. Even
that is
like
very toxic.
so that they like it.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that it's a really difficult thing to pin down, which is like when I was talking earlier before we were on air about like how I have seen like sort of the concept of spiritual bypassing in fandom. Like we can't sit in a bad feeling and reflect on a bad feeling because, we just have to sidestep it and bring a positive spin to it, when no, like this is bad. Like, and we have to examine it, and we have to examine ourselves, and we have to figure out how to move forward and actually do what we're saying. And I think that the oxymoron of toxic positivity is what makes it an effective term. I do think it has been certainly diluted as far as what it should be applied to in this context. But I'm an English teacher, and so I find terms that are oxymoronic like that very effective, because you have to think about the fact that those two words don't go together. So what exactly makes positivity toxic? And it's the not listening to people who are bringing up valid concerns, which is what part of this issue was. Not like speaking over the people who are being abused, and exactly what Brooke said. Like shutting down constructive criticism, rage bait, not curating a constructive space, not curating, because like not every thought is going to be positive. Right? Like, and that's normal. Like when you're consuming a piece of media, you're not going to like every single second of everything, right? And like, you know, we all had something that was our least favorite to share about this episode, right? So like, I think that's normal.
Yeah.
But saying that like pretending that the violence and racism and transphobia and homophobia and
sexism,
misogyny, violent misogyny is not happening, is where the toxicity of the positivity comes in. When you are bypassing, ignoring the problem. So it's not that I disagree with what you said. I just wanted to sort of like add on to it.
Sure.
In perhaps why that is a useful term.
I guess the one thing that I have seen about all of this, and not just what we've been talking about now, but as this conversation I think has been going on for years now, is where do we put the energy? Do we put the energy on some fucking chucklehead that is like, oh, don't criticize it, just be positive about it, or we put our energy to the people who are sending messages to Kels?
Absolutely.
At what point do we need to say, hey guys, I know that this is annoying and problematic in its own right, but we have a much bigger fucking problem over here that we need to be speaking up much louder about than worrying about someone who's like, don't criticize this. And like what Brick said, like they're rage baiting, the fandom menace and stuff like that. And like, yeah, that's annoying and problematic in its own right, especially with the reaction the Acolyte has gotten. And like with Kels getting that many messages, with the comments that I've gotten, the DMs that I've gotten, like the fact that like one of my mutuals was reported and couldn't stream just because I was in the live stream, because that person saw my video that got however many thousands of views. Like that's the fucking problem. And it's like, it's one of those things like, I think, you can also focus on multiple things at one time, but like, I think the thing that needs to be spoken up against is like, hey, fuck those people. Like the people who are doing these things aggressively, hatefully, and violently are the main concern.
Like you don't get to be in our
positivity
space.
isn't working anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I've talked to people because it's the one thing that has bothered me. Is I think a lot of people will start their videos to no hate to this creator, and I'm like, fuck that. That person's a piece of shit.
Hate.
Yeah.
I am sending hate. That's why I'm making this video.
Like that person, like I've seen it happen. And like, look, I'm not saying that everyone needs to research every comment that every person on every account has made. That's ridiculous. Like I've seen people say like, no hate to this commenter. Like I've seen that person like say that they're straight up pissed off about the alphabet people that have infiltrated Disney as an agenda. Like, yeah, I'm gonna send hate to
I
that
am sending
person.
hate.
Very much hate to this commenter.
Send hate.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think like toxicity exists on all forms, like we've all been saying, and I think this week showed very clearly. Like I think JJ said it best. Like I mean, I think one of the constant critiques that I saw online about this episode and about the series in general was about how Vernestra has been written and portrayed so far in this series, and how it feels very flat. And I think some of us know that set off a whole bunch of shit. And I think JJ said it best when she said, I shouldn't have to read everything to get something from that character.
I agree.
I've read every book and every comic in the High Republic to this point. And I know Kels has probably done the same. Probably we've done it many, many times. And I'm not going to sit here, because I shouldn't sit here and suggest that, well, you don't understand that character because you've not read, hours of reference material. You shouldn't have to read hours of reference.
Which is it's such a cop-out thing to say.
Well, it is.
The casual enjoyer should be able to engage with the material and still be able to participate.
If you don't, that's fine. That's the thing. If you don't connect with a character in the show and you say that, that's fine. That's a legitimate opinion and a legitimate critique. And you shouldn't have, well, you haven't read the book, so you don't understand, thrown at you. I think that's a petty fucking shit thing to do.
That's my problem. That's my thing. Like, we say we want to harbor a positive community. It's having that, but not be like those two comments interacting together.
Maybe
it makes me look at people and be like, do you really believe what you say? Or is it just a persona online? Because we want to be all inclusive, but when you say shit like that, you're not inclusive. You're exclusive. And that's what we're trying to get away from.
Alienating people from wanting to participate.
Exactly. And then it's just like a roll. Where does it end? Where does it end?
And it's like there's a way you can handle that without being like, you don't understand the character because you don't read the books. It should be a, hey, you like Vernestra? There's like 3 or 4 Vernestra books if you want to go read that.
And this is hilarious because Brooke says it right there. Like,
literally,
I agree. Both things can exist. Like, you
They're
don't
both-
have to be the all-knowing to know that fucking character.
Yeah,
If you really want to get down to the brass tacks, Vernestra is completely different from phase 3 than she is to phase fucking 1.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
why are we?
Yeah, she's
why
a
are we making
teenager.
this big deal?
And also, like, if you have the attitude that you are all knowing about a character, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That
Because you only know what's been given to you and how you've interpreted it. That does not mean you know everything about that character.
And you have to
or
in
about
the lens that you're receiving
Exactly.
the information in, which is something that people are like, oh, media literacy. I'm like, this is part of media literacy, guys.
Well, and,
You have
and
to
like,
examine what your biases are going into interpreting a text.
and a perfect example of that was our reaction to the episode this week. Luke and Hereth and I didn't vibe with it at first. We didn't have that. And that's fine. And a ton of people online did. And we're not sitting here shitting on them because they did.
No, but that's the whole point of this, though, is to bring people on that did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I want to understand why you enjoyed it so that I can look at it from a different lens and be like, oh, okay. I can kind of see that.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
and
but it's always good to have different points of views on
Yes.
things
Yeah.
because at the first things first, if you're a fan of Star Wars, you're not gonna love everything. That's the part of being a fan. You're gonna have things that you don't enjoy. You're gonna have characters that you don't like, while other characters do like. Like I've already said this plenty of times. I don't like Bad Batch season 2. I don't like Bad Batch season 2.
And it's okay to be wrong.
And that's
It's fine.
fine. You're the Book of Boba Fett sympathizer with me, all right? Leave me alone.
Oh my god.
No, you're right, because like I've said it on this podcast and talking with lots of people, I am an original trilogy fan through and through. And there are parts of the original trilogy I don't like. Like, I'm just not a fan of certain aspects of the original trilogy. I like the prequel trilogy. I enjoy it. It is not my favorite trilogy. I like the sequels more than the prequel trilogy because they feel more like the original trilogy. That doesn't mean I hate it. I like, there are aspects of the Clone Wars that I'm just like, this is not for me. I don't like this. I don't like what's going on. It's boring to me. It doesn't feel like there's just anything going on. But then you get to Rebels. I love it.
Luke, this is
like,
the part where you cross your arms and frown. Okay.
Yeah. But there's so many aspects that, like, yeah, I don't like this part of it. And like I've talked about it, is like my favorite thing about Star Wars, which a lot of you guys know, is like the X-Wings versus the TIE Fighters. Like that is peak Star Wars to me. Me and Kels are absolutely
boom. There's a T-65 right there.
Alphabet Squadron.
Yeah, Alphabet Squadron is the best trilogy.
Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron is gonna happen.
But here's the thing. That's the thing. Is that doesn't mean I dislike the Jedi versus the Sith. I like them and I love Force lore. I think it's very interesting. But there will always be this moment of like, whenever I watch a new Star Wars show and a new ship comes on, that's when I peek up. Like,
a new ship.
Yeah.
I like that. Those are some cool engines.
Well, did you
on
know?
that.
Hey,
new ship.
Jeez, did you know that Venestra's is named after Emery?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that a little behind the scenes, and that was cool.
Oh my god.
The
I
ships
think-
they've been showing are in the High Republic for the Acolyte have been really interesting. There's been some, like, one thing I'll say, like, and I'll kind of segue this, like, the one criticism I do have about Disney is the new spaceships they've introduced are either top tier or dog water. Like,
Yeah.
some of the, like, there's no
No,
middle ground.
that's fair. Yeah.
Like Morgan's fucking triangle shuttle, like I wanted to vomit when I saw that thing. The Marauder, the Bad Batch Marauder.
Oh my God, the Marauder.
Disgusting piece of machinery. Anyways, but that's the thing that, like, and I stitched JJ on this, and we had a conversation about it, of especially when the Acolyte first came out, and like episodes, let's just be specific. When episode 3 came out, and just the vitriol that had come out of the fandom menace, and, you know, talking to people, and I was like, there comes a time when your criticism holds no weight at this moment, where when you are criticizing something, you're only feeding the fire of hatred. And it's like, it is not so necessary for you to say, here's my valid critical analysis and what I disliked and my criticisms of this episode. I think that's great. You have that. This is not the time to express that.
Yeah.
It is detrimental to the fandom, because what you do is you post that on, especially like we're doing it through social media, of like, here's my things I didn't like about Acolyte episode 3. What people do is right-wing grifters will see that, and then they'll co-opt that. And from my knowledge, going back to toxic positivity, that is like a alt-right dog whistle of like, so much for the tolerant left. Oh, this is toxic positivity at its finest. Like, these are terms that come from the alt-right that we're now trying to use, which I'm like, what, guys, stop. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And like, here's the other thing though, like when we were having our conversation about what we didn't like, and that's the problem for me, is that I am genuinely enjoying the Acolyte, but I feel like if you do say anything that has constructive criticism, especially in this fandom, it gets taken the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's no one's fault but the fandom menace.
That's definitely the fandom menace.
Well, and that's the thing, that we're so quick to jump down people's throats for not liking something, and then to name them part of that fandom when they don't belong there.
It's like it activates people's fight or flight for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I think because I did have 900 plus incels in my comments.
Yeah.
I personally feel slightly more defensive towards the Acolyte, because I'm like, hey, I was sent death threats over this.
Right.
I'm going to now defend the show slightly more
100%.
than I would have.
100%.
Because I was genuinely attacked for it. So if I and I knew, because especially that's one reason I made my account private for like a week, because I was like, if I say anything somewhat negative about the show with this many incels on my ass right now, they're gonna take it and run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's where I do have a frustration of people, and I'm not gonna say like disingenuous, like genuinely saying, oh, I wish I could, give constructive feedback and criticize. I'm like, I agree, I 100% agree. But it fucking sucks that's not the way it is right now. And we kind of have to deal with that. And it's like, don't be upset that someone's getting frustrated that you're criticizing a show when the atmosphere around that show, or not even just the Acolyte, just like things in general. You look at, like, I'm not a fan of The Boys, but the fact that The Boys of all thing is being reviewed bomb right now because conservative fucking dipshits are finally realizing they've been getting made fun of.
Don't get me fucking started.
And now
I haven't even watched the show and I'm laughing at it.
Like, I'm not a superhero person. It's not my thing. I'm probably never going to watch The Boys, but I'm like, good. Fucking good. But like at the same time, like if I were in that fandom, if I were in that space, like I would also want to hold back my criticisms, because I'm like, what moron is going to see my video and take what I said and run with it? And it's like why to this day I have my problems with the sequel trilogy. I love the sequel trilogy. I will always follow anytime I say that with, I love the sequel trilogy. I love Rey. I love her story. I love Poe, and I love Finn. I have problems with how each character was handled. They're not the problems that always get reiterated. I don't fucking talk about that because I was in a live having to tell someone who was saying, show me, don't tell me, show me, don't tell me. They don't know how to write good stories. And I'm like, they showed you through the entirety of The Force Awakens who Rey was as a character, and you chose to ignore it. That movie is almost 10 years old, and I still have to have that talking point with someone. Yeah, I'm not criticizing that show. There's no point.
No,
like, it's going to get recycled.
And that's the
or
the
movie.
other thing.
I'm sorry.
No, and that brings me back to the point. Like, we wish that we could have that constructive criticism, but.
And we can. What we've done this evening is hey, I specifically said what's your favorite, then what's your least favorite, because it's like start with something positive and then tell me something that like didn't go so well for you. Like I could easily say like there are parts of the Acolyte as a whole where I find myself kind of like falling out of the immersion, and it's not hooking me throughout every scene, and then it finds really interesting ways to pull me back in. I could get really in depth with some of this stuff that I don't like about the Acolyte, but I'm still like, I'm not going to say it.
Agreed.
I'm not gonna say it. It's
100%. And
I can express. Go ahead.
I hope I wasn't like being insensitive when I was making that comment earlier. So if I
Luke,
did,
everything you say is insensitive.
Well, I
Luke,
mean,
shame.
Again, I don't have to go. We don't have to go through the 900 DMs or anything like that for just existing, and that was just insensitive of me to say that.
Yeah.
So
for all you shows out there, Disney paid me $1.
So you know.
Oh yeah, no, we have to get this to 2 hours because we literally get paid 10 grand every time.
But just the white men get the money. We don't.
No.
No, you get 7 grand. That's how
you forget.
I think it's also really important, like when we're talking about critique, is understanding when is it appropriate for my voice to be giving this criticism.
Yes.
So, for
100%.
example, I let me take off my disguise really quickly. I am a white woman.
Superman.
No! Oh no!
I know. But seriously though, I am a white woman. I live in Canada. I am not housing insecure. You know what I mean? It's like there's all of these things that I'm like, okay, so I need to defer to the voices of other people who know what the fuck they're talking about on things. But like specifically when it comes to like marginalized people in our fandom, it's like, you know, like it's not always appropriate for it's not always appropriate for me to offer my criticism of something. And so having the maturity and the humility to be able to assess that and see the difference for yourself, I think is something that constantly needs to be worked at as well. Like it's not a destination that you reach. And like I said this during the Kerfuffle a few weeks ago, like this is a constant work. This is a lifelong work. And it is work, and you have to be committed to doing it. Otherwise, this is never going to be the community that we say we want it to be. And so that's sort of my mindset, is that like remaining teachable and receiving critique with humility, I think is so important as well. Like if somebody gives you feedback, like, listen, like I was really not okay with this thing that you said, and saying, oh, damn, like that's not what I meant. I'm really sorry. How can I, you know, make reparations for this? Like, would it be appropriate for me to delete it? Would it be appropriate for me to make a comment on main saying, I said this earlier, and I don't feel good about it. It was brought to my attention. You know, like how do we move forward? And receiving that with humility rather than defensiveness. So I think that because of like the backlash that like obviously marginalized fans are receiving on literally any comment they make, any comment. It doesn't even, it's not even like on literally anything. Like you said, it's just for existing. Like Black women in our fandom, like I don't, like what, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that like we don't want to add to the pile on, like I think that's really saying something about how deeply rooted this entrenched grossness is, right? Like I say this all the time, like my husband and I will be driving somewhere and we'll see some Yahoo with a fuck Trudeau flag on their truck, and I'm like, okay, yes, but not for the reasons that you are saying that. Like it's very much yes, 100% agree, but like not at all for the reasons
We are
that
not the same.
you are.
Yeah,
We're
like
not the same
even
thing.
like tying it to Star Wars, like I have tons of criticisms towards Disney and Lucasfilm on how they've handled things from acquisition to
100%.
today.
Mhm.
It's not because of fucking Kathleen Kennedy, guys. Like,
No.
it's like, look, Kathleen Kennedy. Like, I have criticisms for Kathleen Kennedy for being in a position of power and not using that position to like talk about the fandom for the company she's running and how the
and defend her actors and creators.
yeah. Like, why
Give
does
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor need to like sit in his car and be like, guys, please stop fucking with my
And then
co-star.
Radio silence for every Acolyte actor. Like Charlie Burnett had the Phantom Menace going after him because he slipped up in an interview and said
Death
Anakin
Star.
blew up the Death Star.
Oh my god!
They're
It's
still bringing
literally
it up.
the dumbest
They're
shit.
still
I'm like, guys,
going after it.
I'm
They're
like,
still
guys.
using it as how like
No, they're still using it like you know how long press days are. They're so long. I'm sure he meant Luke. He just said the wrong name. Slip of the tongue because
okay,
people
all-
do
we've
we've
that.
all said
We've
something.
all
We've
done
slipped that
that.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just
No matter how
happened to
big
be
the
on
house is.
camera.
But
The
There's
fans,
just yeah.
the fans need to understand that every single Star Wars actor is not Sam Witwer. Every single actor or actress is not a Star Wars
And they-
genius. They're
And they don't
paid
have to be.
perform and
They
to
don't have to be.
express.
Harrison Ford. Sorry.
Okay. Yes,
Yes.
Harrison Ford doesn't
Yes.
give a flying crap.
But
about
the
this
thing is,
franchise.
they love when Harrison Ford does it because he's a white man, and Charlie is a gay black man, and they're going after his ass for
I
it.
didn't know he was
And that's
gay.
one reason
Is this
why-
how I find out he's gay? This is how I
No,
find
yeah,
out
He is?
he's gay.
Yeah.
He's gay in
I
real
didn't
life.
know
Yes,
that.
Charlie is a black gay actor, and that's
I
one
did not
reason
know
why.
that.
Like, yes, did I think Yordhorde kind of got a little out of control? Yes. Do I also love the fact that amongst all of the negativity, Star Wars managed to find something that I helped create to latch onto to show Charlie how
Absolutely.
loved he is by the fandom, because I know he was seeing those comments. So the fact that I was able to help create a space where because he in every comment he makes, he mentions Yordhorde and thanks us, and I'm like, I managed to give this actor something positive to show that there is people who do love Yord and loved the work that he did, and if that's what and if like that's all that matters to me is the fact that these actors, despite all the negativity, know that there are people who do love this show and love them.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
and
Like,
it's interesting because Kay brings up a good point. That I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all do
Yeah.
it.
I
I
don't either, Luke.
There's a reason I have not as like I mean there's a handful of reasons, one of them being like I am so that disability is disabling. Putting out content the way that I would love to is because I'm afraid. Like I'm afraid.
I haven't posted on TikTok on purpose about the show.
But do you know what I mean?
Because
Like
Twitter's not enough. I'm not doing it on TikTok.
Like I'm afraid, and like if I, a white woman, is afraid, how much more so is it of people who do not share the privileges that I have? You know, and like it's, yeah,
like it's for like not to like. And also, and me, but it's like anytime that I see someone visit, like someone who's like shitting in my comment section when they visit my profile, I'm like, fuck, they're gonna see the pronouns.
Yep. Yeah. No. As soon as they go, especially with me, like when they go pronouns in bio, which is one reason why a lot of the times I have a man as my profile picture on Twitter.
I've really thought about taking
because
them
out. I almost did. I almost took them out, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna stoop that low and go to their level. But there's one reason I tend to have a man as my profile picture on Twitter, because they're slightly more forgiving when I have a male character as my profile picture. I don't know what it is.
I've noticed that.
Anytime I've ever had a woman as my profile picture on Twitter, it's worse.
Like,
so I have a man and they're like a little, what's funny is like when I had Jason, like it's fan art that I had as my profile picture for a while, but I had someone screenshot my profile picture. Because you know when people like will try to like ratio you, they'll like take a screenshot of like your profile picture, like this you. They did that to me, and I'm like, this is very clearly fan art. You think that's what I look like? And then they see they them in my bio, and they go, oh, pronouns in bio, and then they'll start going after me.
Yeah,
which I guess for me was slightly gender euphoric because they kept hemming me, and I'm like, okay, you're wrong, but you're on the other side. So I don't know, but
like it's wild, and
it's wild.
The one thing that like gives me a little bit of satisfaction is like the comments I get was like, nose ring was all I needed to see.
Oh, didn't even point out your Padawan braid either.
I don't care. I don't care. It's just like, and this is the thing about these like gremlins, right? Is my response 100% of the time when someone says all I needed to see was the nose ring, I was like, what about it?
It's such superficial shit.
What about it? Tell me about
that's
it.
all that they have.
They really think they're ratioing you. I'm like, you're really not.
It's like it's the ultimate satisfaction that you know you've won, and they're just like picking at straws at this point to be like, oh, your nose ring. Oh, you're these pronouns. Like, it's just like shut the fuck up.
Look at the criticisms that have come out of the episode this week. We had someone point out that, oh, if only someone knew that they could factory reset the Death Star, Star Wars would have been easier. That was an actual critique.
No, that hurts my brain.
I'm so deep in queer Twitter that I'm seeing the fucking Ashmere discourse. I honestly seen people just go after it. One, it's first off, it's a ship with two POC people, which I know is part of the reason everyone is so against it right now. Is there's no way people involved. But the amount of discourse I've seen the fact that there's certain gay people are saying that because Leslie is making a quote unquote straight ship in a supposedly gay show, that she's not actually a lesbian because a real lesbian would not make a straight ship. And I'm like, I need y'all to touch grass. I need y'all to touch. No, queer discourse.
I'm trying to frown here, and it's not going any further.
I hate queer discourse so much.
The biphobia is just...
I'm like, guys, especially when OSHA is so bi-coded, because Keimer literally like mentioned Jackie. It was like, she would not love you the way you wanted her to.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I guess, like, are we at the point where Leslie being married to a woman who is in this show just isn't enough? Like,
they're like, no, you're not a lesbian because you're making a straight ship. Okay, also, when people realize just because male and female are in a ship together does not automatically mean it's straight, because again, bi people and pan people exist.
Yeah,
but that's a whole can of worms.
Also, it's like, how many like LGBT writers have written straight relationships and straight characters or played straight characters? It's like,
also,
I can name
do you really
100.
think Star Wars? How do you think as much as I hate saying this, but how do you think about it? Yes, we have the lesbians, the mothers. We have a side relationship of gay people. Great. Loved it. Loved them. They were amazing. Do you really think the fandom would react positively to a main couple lesbians? It wouldn't. The discourse would be disgusting. And I would, as much as I want to see that, I don't think I could handle flashbacks of any of that. No, absolutely not. Like, the discourse should be so bad, it would not be worth it.
No, yeah.
Juice is not worth the squeeze.
It's not.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when I see stuff like that, and I'm just like, it kind of comes back to like, this shit just gets co-opted. Like, it's just the wrong people see that and they run with it and be like even it's like, you know, Disney made a gay show, but it wasn't gay enough for the gays, and this is the woke gay agenda where they even hate each other, and like that shit gets ran with. I mean, we've seen it happen with multiple people in the community where like their content, their tweets, their blog posts, whatever it is, it gets into circulation amongst these grifters and stuff like that, and it gets used.
Someone tried to say I'm not gay enough because I tweet about men too much.
What in the goddamn fuck is that?
I was like, what do you mean? I was like, they're like, you thirst over like fictional men. I'm like, yeah, because they're fictional and not real. So that means I'll never actually date them. That's why they're appealing.
And also, maybe
I'm still a lesbian dating a woman. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like
Apparently, I talk about men too much. I don't know.
But yeah, it's just the discourse of this show has never ceased to amaze me. Like, and I think the only time I was not surprised was episode after episode 5, and I was like, they're gonna shut the fuck up after this. I know it, and they did.
Yeah.
Like, and like the one thing that I saw that was really interesting was the rise of the pseudo wannabe grifters and how they've just been getting like dug through the mud, like Bombastic trying to be a grifter now, like complaining that the Nemoidians don't have the silly accent from Phantom Menace. And then everyone was just like, yes, the fall of Bombastic. Here we go. I'm here for it. Of like these non-complaints, like people who are saying like Chimere was too strong in episode 5, and people are just like, what are you talking about?
I liked the one where the person was complaining about how the Jedi didn't know that Chimere was there until he floated in, as though we haven't seen scenes of Jedi Council members.
That was my favorite tweet I've ever made. It was me just screenshotting that one tweet where it's like, I can't believe they didn't censor him, and I just put the Palpatine in the council.
Oh my god, I think I reposted that.
Anyway, like,
and the fact like the floating in, it's like, oh, there's a clip from Dooku doing it in the 2003 Tartakovsky Clone Wars.
Like,
but it's animated.
People float, and I can't believe people saw this dark side user float in menacingly and didn't think it was the coolest fucking thing in the world.
Like, how do you not see him floating down like the incarnate of death and go,
oh my god, it was such a cool entrance. What do you mean you hated it?
Dramatic as fuck.
And that reaction when he floated in like that.
That entrance was on par with
top tier entrance. Top tier
entrance.
It was in the same lore of entrance as Twilight of the Apprentice Vader coming down on his tie.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the same fucking.
Oh my god.
They both floated, but different ways.
But
yeah,
it's been fun watching them get destroyed. These wannabes.
Yeah,
Nick, I thought you were gonna
for the weakest stuff.
Nick, I thought you were gonna bring up the dumbest one that you brought, or Jesse brought up in Discord, the one that of like, oh, Sith killed the Jedi in this era. I thought this is supposed to be an era of peace, and I was like, that one made me want to just fucking throw myself off a bridge.
That's the point. It looks like it's peace, but it's really not. That's the whole point about the High Republic. It's like it's the Golden Age, but it's really not.
It's not.
Like
we are always looking for a nostalgic for a time that never existed. I mean, which I think is the thesis of the Star Wars fandom. Like, I miss the old canon. I miss the old canon. The EU was never canon, you asshole.
And also, you gotta talk about the EU. The EU is batshit insane. Nothing makes sense. I say that as someone who's ready. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
No continuity, just vibes. No continuity,
just literal vibes.
I've talked to a lot of people about that. Like when I was like, when people bring up the expanded universe, I'm like, yeah, dude, I love the expanded universe. You know what's crazy about the expanded universe? Darth Bane flying through the vacuum of space in a pterodactyl.
Oh, remember that several times Jedi would use the Force to like enhance pregnancies to make it either last longer or go shorter, so they grow babies faster or make the babies grow slower.
What in the fuck?
Or can we talk about how Chewie died by having a moon fall on him?
Yeah. Or can we talk about Boba Fett getting like mind connected to the Sarlacc?
Or when Jaina Solo went to go find Boba Fett and learned how to train with him so she could go kill her brother. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does Boba Fett know about the fucking Force?
or it's like it's the people who like complain about combat scenes. I'm like, yeah, how about in like the first X-Wing novel where apparently the torpedoes fly slower than the X-Wings so that Corran Horn can get ahead of everyone. They can lock onto him, fire a torpedo, and then it'll hit the timer. Like, that's not how missiles work, guys. It's just one of those things where it's just like, dude, it's good storytelling. It's the rule of cool.
It's published fan fiction, and that's okay. That's okay. But it's published fanfic.
There's bad, there's great, there's terrible, there's mediocre. And it's just what it does to me is when the people who complain about like expanded universe stuff, it was like, it seems like you didn't read this stuff. And again, that's okay. What's not okay is having an expectation that matches something you're unaware about. And it's like you will never have that expectation met because number one, you don't know what your actual expectation is because you're misinformed on what you think you want. And two, like this shit never made sense half the time anyways. Like if we like the amount of people who are still like, oh, they should just retell the stories from the expanded universe. I'm like, why?
It wouldn't make sense.
No,
it would be a waste of story.
And even if that, like the characterization of Luke in the EU would piss
is so different than
way
canon.
more than what we got in the sequels. Way more.
But
because
you're trying to kill everybody.
Anyways, I could go on for hours about
that.
But that would
and they also got
the
married in the EU, which was interesting.
Didn't he
but it's
also
fine.
marry like Mara Jade and a child?
He married
I heard about that.
he married. He married Mara Jade, who was sent to go kill him because she was Palpatine's apprentice, acolyte type thing, and then she went to go kill him. They fell in love, got married, had a kid, and I'm like, and then Han and Leia, being a Jedi just never made sense. But I just kind of rolled with it. Her sister just fits so much more to her character. But that's a whole thing. But yeah, it's interesting. The EU is interesting. I love it, but it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, we can all remember how the Night Sisters were introduced, right? When Han Solo won Dathomir and a bet, so he was trying to woo over Leia to get married.
Yeah, that was a
that's peak stuff right there.
How come the Night Sisters haven't been taming Rancors? What's going on?
Hold on. I did not create Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
All right. So we're sitting at 2 hours 15 minutes.
Yeah, we had our $10,000 quota. We're good.
Yeah. We've all made $10,000.
Except me and Emma, we made 7,000.
7,000. The wage gap.
Eat it, chill, commenters. We are getting paid. Your theories are right.
I wish I was getting paid.
Closing on that, it's funny because it's the other people who just scream about stuff. They're the ones that are getting paid more than all of us. So,
really?
That's very true.
But Emma, Kels, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being incredible guests and sharing your thoughts and your opinions, both on the fandom and, of course, on the Acolyte. Emma, let me start with you. Where can we find you on the internet? What are you working on? Are there any projects you have going on? Podcasts, video series, whatever it may be, let me know.
Oh my gosh. Well, as soon as I get these ADHD meds sorted out, it's over for all of you.
Oh fuck.
No, but in all seriousness, you can find me at Leia Hutslayer pretty much everywhere. I am working on getting back into putting out content, or like original content, my own content, instead of just riding the coattails of my friends' content. So until then, you can find me riding the tails of my friends' the coattails of my friends' content. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all of the places at Leia Hutslayer. I really like to read, so you'll find a lot of, I don't know if you can see all of this back here, but you'll find book stuff, Star Wars stuff.
Man, that's one hell of a book collection.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm struggling so hard with the inverted. There's another bookshelf going here. It just needs to be built. It's in the box still, but
nice.
That's my husband's role, so he builds them and then I focus on them. I like thrifting for books. I'm hoping to get more content out about book collecting and where to find books and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah.
Amazing. Kels.
It's not a whole library. Sorry, side note, it's not a whole library because 1,000 books is a library. And I have an app in which I track, and I am not quite a library yet.
So what I think what we're hearing
where are
is
you at? Do you know?
You just need to do better.
I know.
Yeah,
I need to receive my check from Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And from Lucas Egan.
I don't know what the number is at right now, but the last time I checked, I just did a purge and donated a bunch of books to my high school's library, so that the teens have some books. But it was like in this 700 to 800 range.
All right.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're
almost
enough
library.
Enough about me.
Okay, Kels.
I'm about in the 700 some range. Of course, a lot of those in storage because I don't have room in my apartment, but it's fine.
That's fair,
But
space
it's fine. Space is a thing. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sansa Skywalkers and on TikTok at Discount Sansa Stark, where I am currently screaming a lot about the Roman Empire, and the Gladiator 2 trailer is out on Tuesday, and I'm sure you all saw my meltdown on Monday when the stills came out. It's fine.
I loved how everyone was freaking about Pedro, and then we got Kels over here.
I'm like, look at this mentally ill Victorian-looking Roman emperor. Look at him. It's fine. I have my little bust of Nero with me.
So Kels, is your Roman Empire the Roman Empire?
The Roman Empire. I've read like 10 books on the Roman emperors this year. So my goal was originally at the beginning of the year to be like, I need to know more about the Roman Empire than every man going into Gladiator 2.
Fuck
and I think I've reached that point.
Oh yeah, let's go.
So
that's very
like
alpha and
one
sigma
book,
of you,
probably
Kels.
got more knowledge than most of the men going to see that movie.
Yeah,
I need to make sure I know more about Caracalla than every other man going into there, and I think I'm there. So
hell yeah.
It's fine. I'm normal. And then obviously Percy Jackson is gonna start filming in August. I don't know if you can see.
I'll keep an eye out for you.
Yeah.
Wait, did we officially hit all of Kels' interests in this entire episode?
I think that might be accurate.
I think I just hit the final one. But yeah, I do post about Star Wars when I'm feeling spicy and not like I want to get attacked. But yeah, I do just kind of scream about ancient stuff and dead people. I am going to eventually make my thread of my favorite Roman emperors because everyone keeps asking me for it. I am a Nero apologist, if that means anything to anyone. But
Hell on earth, no. Hell on earth, no.
He's so funky. He's so silly goofy, and I love him. And I feel like because I love Gollum and Ochi, that just really gives you as to who I am as a person. That me attaching to Nero makes sense.
I never understand, but that's okay.
The one thing I can hold over Luke is the fact that I called the Rings of Power like Sauron thing over him. Because on episode 2, when Halbrand showed up, I was like, that's Sauron, and Luke was like, no, it's not, and then I was correct, so that's my
wait. The Rings of Powers to Acolyte parallels are too strong, especially also with Luke missing the obvious plot twist that's hitting you straight in the face, and him still being correctly wrong about it and holding on to his wrongness.
All right, we get it. I was wrong.
All right,
always are.
So Kels, thank you. It's very clear your taste in men is summed up in one word: problematic.
There's a reason I'm a lesbian. My taste in men is atrocious.
And that's why we love you. But Nick, how you doing?
Hi, Nicholas. How are you?
Nick, we're wrapping up. Let us know, where can we find you on the internet? You have been gaining some followers despite my one comment saying you weren't going to gain any followers.
I know. I'm still waiting on the checks. I hit that 186 followers.
Yeah, I know.
Case. I'm still waiting on those checks.
Everyone, please follow Andy Wise Guys so Disney can cash out on him. But where can we find you? Do you have anything fun going on coming up or anything like that?
Yeah, well, like you said, you can find me on Twitter and TikTok at NDWiseGuy. I love yapping away about the High Republic. It is my favorite era of Star Wars, and all I do is like to talk about it, as Luke knows very, very well. Currently,
best.
I am. Oh, it's the best. I mean, it's the best
It's
era
the
of Star
best.
Wars.
Best era.
Best era. I have started a series this month yesterday on a whim of the things that I love about Star Wars because it's my birthday month and I figured why the hell not. So I've been doing videos about that. I put one out about The Last Jedi today, so I may yet go with Kels route and have to private my account before too long, depending on the level of hate that comes down on that one.
It's okay. You're a white guy. Someone actually might listen.
That's true. Yeah.
Fuck.
But otherwise, I am also here with all of you, the Podwans, on Tuesdays and Fridays, doing live reactions and roundtables about the Acolyte, and I have enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the next couple of weeks. And I think I will be sticking around for the Rings of Power as well.
Yes.
Epic
yeah.
gamer
So-
moment.
From the Wokalite to the Rings of Woke, you got it, man.
Leave the trifecta.
True shill, actually.
All right. Top 3, boys.
Who we starting with?
You figure it out.
Let's go on.
Not Luke. Luke's
Yes.
not a top. Okay.
Whoa,
Let's not. And actually, no, I think I said the opposite. Let's start with Luke for once because he always finishes. I think it's time for him to start.
I'm
Luke.
Just
Mr.
I'm
I
sorry.
am
His
Mariano
outro is
Rivera.
like-
You don't bring
yeah.
him in. You
Hereth,
have
you
me
go.
finished.
You
Luke.
go,
No.
Hereth.
Luke, where can we find you on the
God
internet?
damn it.
Yeah.
One
You can find
time.
him.
We
You
keep
can
it
find him in
consistent.
New Jersey
No.
where he's yelling at his computer.
Where on the Jersey Turnpike are you?
On route on exit 69, actually.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, sick.
Very
Nice.
nice. Very nice.
You can follow me at Jedi Master Eggs on all social medias. You can find us on the Podwans on all social medias, whether it's reactions to House of the Dragon, Acolyte, having our roundtables for Acolyte. We do kind of need to work on the whole House of the Dragon roundtable. We just got to figure out a time, place, when to do that.
If you need
We
a
will
team
be-
green person, hello.
Okay, we need our chaos gremlin.
I've got a lot of questions for you after this.
Okay.
Like, no, never mind.
Have Kels on the
Uh,
round table whenever that comes.
Well, anyway, we'll be
Usually
I feel
covering
like-
time here comes.
I feel
power.
like, Luke, I feel like you need their different opinion. I'm just saying.
No, I do need their different opinion.
It's too one-sided.
Oh my, it might be a little biased. I'm not gonna lie.
Poor
Just
Jahan.
a little bit.
Poor Jahan.
Team
Anyway.
black, team black, team black. Huh. Very interesting.
Oh.
Not acting like the other people here aren't also Team Black. What are you talking about?
But we had Team Alice Rivers at the bottom, but I don't think they're also Team Green, so I think that's the actual correct team.
I'm more team lesbian, but it's fine.
Anyway.
Okay, wait. Before you go on, give me a 1-sentence synopsis of who Team Black is and who Team Green is, and I will give you my response.
So we got Damon, the war criminal.
No. Just describe Team Black and describe Team Green.
There's the teams.
No, Kels. I feel like they would do a better version of this.
Oh god. Team Black is behind the rightful Queen of Westeros. Team Green is sexy and here for the drama.
That's actually accurate. Canon.
I'm Team
Yeah.
Green. I'm Team Green.
Thank you. See, this is
You know what? Let's just change sides. Huh? Let's go Team Green.
Team Green. Yeah.
Minus Kristen Cole, minus Aegon.
All the
Elder.
homies hate
Minus,
Kristen
all
Cole.
the homies hate Kristen Cole and Otto Hightower.
That's a bad
You know
name.
what? You know what? You know what?
Except Otto last episode.
After the recent episode, Otto's growing on me a little bit.
Charlie.
Of course,
I still hate what he did to Allison, but that's fine.
But that's factual. But
Anyway, go.
Charlie, where can
Oh,
the
wait.
good people
before
find
Charlie
you?
goes, here's your fucking title, Char. Go point at it.
What just happened? What just happened?
Continue
Charlie,
with-
where can the good people find you?
Good people, you can
People
find me on
find you.
TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at CharCharG, as spelled right here. And you can find me here at the Podwans Podcast every Friday night for our Acolyte roundtable discussions and whenever our Acolyte reactions release on our YouTube channel.
I would like to add that Charlie Johnson is the only person who consistently can actually get his finger on the name properly. That is a secret talent.
Hey,
I'm gonna
it's
work
muscle
on it.
memory. It's muscle memory, bro.
All right.
Mr. Hereth Edits Productions.
Yes.
Where can they where can the good
Where
people
can the
find
bad
you?
people find you?
Oh, when
You're
the
not bad
when
people.
the-
You're not bad people.
oh.
Do not ever call them bad people.
Where the people can find me when I'm not censoring Eamon's dong is at Hereth Productions on TikTok and Instagram.
Why would you do
Hereth
that?
_ edits on
You
Twitter.
dog.
That was a good
Hung.
edit. By the way,
Hung.
money sign. There was the money shot. That's why there was a money sign.
No,
on
I
this
just put the
dog.
demonetization logo over his dick and I had to track it frame by frame. It was great.
Oh, incredible.
Here's a
Where
fat
can we find you?
dong.
What is your?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Anyway, you can find me at Hereth Productions on TikTok and Instagram, Hereth _ edits on Twitter, and you can find me here at the Podwans when I'm not in the dungeon.
Beautiful. You could find me at Forward Into the Black on TikTok and Twitch, and then hanging out playing Star Citizen with a bunch of people, sometimes on stream. But that has been the Podwans Podcast, episode 6, Teach and Corrupt, Emma and Kels. Again, I want to both thank and apologize for having to go through this 2.5 hours. So we do get a bonus from Disney for exceeding another 30 minutes. But thank you guys so much for being here and putting up with us for all the terrible shenanigans. But I think that's going to be it for the Podwans Podcast. Hereth, save your game.
Got it. I'll do it right
Save
now.
your game.
With you. Always.
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 Or not.